Oh boy. That we've come a long way as individuals and as a circus. As even with the rousing success that was our opening night, the show you put on only a few days ago absolutely blew that one out of the water. Almost too much, in fact, as it kind of made you all realize that perhaps Abberton wasn't quite big enough to support the Circus of Wayward Wonders any longer. Your acts, your riches, your very skills have come an incredible way. And as such, I have, as a lot of you noticed, modified our intro a little bit to fit our new show a little bit better. To reflect some of the upgrades we've had, some of the improvements we've made. No longer is our entry theme one dude banging away on a ragtime piano by himself. No, we have an orchestra now to support us. There's a bit more flashing lights and colors. I had a whole plan for this when I made that first intro of slowly making it less and less shitty. And I'm excited to take the first step on that as we begin our new chapter.
You started a pace now. You realize you're going to have to keep leveling it up with
Oh,
every
I have
book
plans.
now.
Don't worry.
Okay.
I have like
I
a
want
whole
death
arc.
metal by level 6, man.
You know what's really funny? Hold on. Let me this is off character and off theme really quick, but let me find it. I don't know if I downloaded it actually. I don't even know if I kept it because it was really funny. The place I get this, Serpent Sound Studios, who they have a Patreon, and I think it's literally just one dude that composes all this royalty-free music, which seems to be the case of like all royalty-free music you can find on the internet. I didn't even actually download it. Okay, I don't have it. Remind me, and I'll show you. I'll show anyone who's. I'll drop in the Discord later. There is a trap version of the circus theme.
Yes.
And it's pretty amazing, actually. But before we dive into a new chapter here, we don't have recap videos for the Extinction Curse purely as a factor of the amount of time that I, the human being, possess to edit together videos and prepare for 2 Pathfinder shows weekly. So let's, to open this new page, just do a quick recap of how we got here. The Circus of Wayward Wonders, what all of you have called home for a little more in the past year, is almost entirely formed of old disillusioned circus hands who broke away from a group known as the Celestial Menagerie. Run by a catfolk named Mistress Dusklight, working for the menagerie was horrible. She was abusive. A lot of her various performers, some of her impressive sideshows, more mythical beasts, were beaten, magically coerced, or just straight drugged into cooperation and performance, as was really anyone that stepped out of line if they didn't simply disappear. You knew there could be something better. So following in the steps of Myron Thunder Steadhall, who took up the helm as new ringmaster, and the professor, an old fire juggler and fire breather, they put together this splinter group. You headed across the Isle of Arran, the smaller of the 2 Starstone Isles, to set your opening night in the tiny little hamlet of Abberton. And though the show was a resounding success, your opening night was marred by the death of your ringleader before even the first curtain. Spurred by the loss of Thunder, the group of you rooted out a multi-level conspiracy of shadows operating behind the scenes in Abberton, coming from all angles. What seemed to be the elements of nature itself plaguing the town, a corrupted infestation of demons, and even a group of very malicious Zolgoths, Trogs, from the Darklands, the realms below the surface of Golarion, having infested a nearby tower. You ended up fighting your way to the top of this ancient relic, to the summit where an Aeon Orb, one of the seeds of life that Erodin himself used to bring life to the Starstone Isles when he rose them up from the floor of the ocean, was starting to fail. And with it, so too was life on the island, slowly but steadily marching toward its end. Atop that tower, you found two powerful evils. The first, a succubus, a prime demon, an aspect of pure lust, who seemed to be the spur of most of Aberton's woes, the summoner of most of its demons, the woman who had corrupted a hermitage of druids and set all these miseries upon the town. But not only did you meet a succubus, Skuld Kanta, the leader of the Trogs atop the tower, was a massively powerful adversary and an incredibly fanatically devoted priest of his demon lords of Gavazeb. These two faced twin threats, and you, party, faced them down in your various ways, but both have left a fairly severe mark on the group of you. It's still unknown, really, the ramifications of what may or may not have come along with Tilvi Shampt the succubus. I mean, we may have some hints, perhaps, but that'll be a secret for one of us to keep, I imagine, as long as possible. But Kanta took with him one of our own. And with the death of Lizard Man last week, followed almost immediately by the death of Kanta himself in an incredible wave of vengeance as everyone just crit the hell out of him in succession. It was one of the most beautiful moments of D20's supporting the narrative I think I've ever seen. We headed to where we are now. Back to our circus grounds. Back to the Circus of Wayward Wonders. To pick up and to carry on. And with Selwyn's convincing, we have our next target in sight. This circus deserves better, and it will have it. Even if we have to wrest Escadar itself away from the Celestial Menagerie directly. As we left off, the evening after reclaiming the Aaron Tower and purging the evils within, we'd all returned home to a night of, well, somber celebrations. On one hand, we had a plan, we had a goal in sight. We know what we're going for now. And we have, by all rights, saved Aberton. Numerous times and in every imaginable way. And if they have any other goddamn problems, they can handle it themselves. But, of course, this has come at a great cost. Losing not just your ringmaster, but now Lizardman as well. In that evening, everyone had gone their separate ways to deal with things as they had.
All right.
Zerg would like to let us all know he has a barbarian instinct, in case anyone was curious. There you go.
It's misclick. My bad.
He does have one, though.
He does definitely have an instinct. As we awaken the next day, an Oath Day morning for Ast the 7th, clear skies and the warming spring approaching. It's going to take a couple of days to pack everything and prepare everyone's wagons for a long road journey to Escadar. The plan is to leave on the weekend. Head out Star Day, travel through the weekend, and hopefully arrive before the following Oath Day on near the opposite shore of the island, giving you 2 full days to wrap up any loose ends or deal with anything that you need in Aberton. So on this Oath Day morning, party. Has everybody returned to the circus grounds at this point? I know a lot of people had taken their leaves to mourn or deal with the loss of Lizardman in their own way. Are we back, or?
I'm sad. Just
Zerg has wandered back sometime over the last few hours.
Aris
Wherever it is that he disappeared to.
just sitting at the main entrance to the circus ground, just staring off.
I am petting my wolves at the circus grounds.
I'm in my wagon riding.
As to keep you sit and prepare, there's a lot of work to be done. Taking down the big top and storing it to prepare for another show is one thing, but packing everything up and readying not just an entire caravan, but the dozens of workers, roustabouts, and performers and hands that will follow along, it's quite an undertaking. There's going to be a lot of business going on at the circus ground throughout the day. So while you're here, before you hit the road, is there anything this day that any of you wanted from Aberton? Anything you wanted to purchase or sell? Anyone you wanted to stop by and check up on, or anything really?
Well, I would want to visit Reginald if we could pull that off at some point. So maybe I can get his teachings, help me to learn some magics I have on a couple scrolls.
I suppose the difficulty there is going to be that Reginald's hermitage is a fair trek away. You could certainly head there and you'd be back before Star Day, but it would take you pretty much the whole of the time before your caravan was ready to hit the road just to make your way up to the hermitage and back. But again, you definitely can if you want to.
Yeah, he wasn't coming to like deliver us something, or I can't remember.
Reginald had been giving you a few days to clear out the tower itself. And then he hasn't heard anything from you. There was no real plans. So it's probably not an awful idea. Would someone to go let him know at least that it's been cleared out? Before he just ditch him and he'll figure it out later.
No, that's what I'll do with my time then.
Is anybody going with Aribus back to the hermitage?
Are you telling me when you're leaving?
That's a good question. Are you even sharing this?
I would tell Selwyn at least.
So then Selwyn.
Yep. Yeah, I'd come with. I think we'll just go the two of us. Some empty space might do us good.
Cool.
So most of the day for you two is travel, camping, and heading back to that cliffside. How about you, Zerganara? What are you doing with your afternoon? Your whole day, really.
Zerg's got some wraps around his right arm, and he's just sitting there, sort of patting them and nursing them, and enjoying his own space quietly, alone, away from everybody else. Deep in thought.
You can almost still hear the giggles in the distance.
Almost.
It's like when you get far enough away, it's almost as if we never lost him. How about you, Ara?
Ara spends a bit of this trying to learn to speak again.
Difficult task for a tiny animated doll.
Yeah, no, right? No mouth, no tongue. Spends a bit of his day just staring at the road, and then he eventually decides to get up and go talk to everyone else in the circus grounds.
You would meet a lot of kind of mixed emotions. But Selwyn and the professor did a pretty good job of hyping everyone up yesterday. There's still a lot of anticipation, I suppose. Definitely some dread going throughout. No one is excited about the prospect of returning to Escadar, and doubly so about running across the menagerie and Mistress Dusklight once more, because almost all of you came from that same background and know how terrible that all truly was. So sometime late in the afternoon, Selwyn and Arbus would arrive back at the Hermitage, and of course, after everything you've done, it would be absolutely no trouble whatsoever to get an audience with Reginald once more. And after he welcomed you in and, well, you seemed safe enough, you exchanged the tale of what transpired at the Aaron Tower. His face goes from relief and a relatively pleased disposition, of course, to something a bit more somber. I am truly sorry for the sacrifices that you have made on our behalf. But know that whether he or any of you held this faith in your hearts, the wind and the waves will carry on and wash favorably on his spirit. Aribus, I trust you at least understand this.
I do. I understand it's the way of things.
Gazra does not take sides. In essence, he is the pinnacle of neutrality. Arguably even more so than the Grey Lady of the Boneyard herself. But he also does not ignore those who dedicate or even give their life to preserving the balance, as your friend did. If you wish, Arbus, I know not of his people's proper proceedings or rights, but I'd say he's more than worthy of resting here in the Hermitage, among those who have given their lives for similar cause, if you wish.
What do you think, Selwyn? I mean, that would be... I'm not sure what the lizard believe, but it's a great honor.
I really don't know.
Of course, there is no rush. This is simply an offer. I don't wish to impose it all, and I know that seemingly faith was far at the back of his mind, but truly the task the group of you have accomplished cannot be overstated in its magnitude. It seems an exaggeration, but it is only truth, and you may very well have bought a renewed life for Absalom itself, all those who call the Isles home. But I thank you for visiting me and telling me of your tales. I will dispatch some of those that are left to head out to the tower tomorrow morning and I suppose begin the cleanup. There's much still to be done here, of course, but our efforts should be focused on the Aeon Orb if possible. Now, it is getting late, and you're more than welcome to our guest quarters here to rest for as long as you wish. Please, I'll head to the kitchens and have hot meals prepared for the pair of you.
Oh, that would be fantastic. I would also hope to... I have some powerful magics on scroll I would like to try to learn, and I figure with your help it would be an easier process. Perhaps we could get into that at some point in the day.
I will admit that the studies of proper spellcraft and magic are duties I'm somewhat shirked in my role as the head priest here, but I'll be more than happy to aid as I can, Arbus.
Thank you.
And with his assistance, he would be able certainly to make a roll to attempt to aid you in learning these spells. Now,
Cool.
with primal magic, trying to commit and learn anything, this is something Arbus you would already have known, so this is supplies you could have purchased in advance for sure. It's almost a ritual, trying to sort of impress this knowledge, this new magic onto your very being. And it requires an assortment of various incenses and things to work properly for this communion. So what are you trying to learn exactly?
Well, there's two different ones, and the first one is it's a level 3 scroll.
Okay.
It's called Unseasonable Squall.
Alrighty. You can do that. It's gonna cost basically 16 gold and exotic incenses and other materials. But like I said, Arbus is fully aware she came here to do this, so if you want to just knock 16 gold off of the party sheet, it's definitely something you could have acquired in
done.
town in advance. Yep, or already had with you.
Nice.
And with Reginald's assistance here, let me see what we can manage. He is going to attempt to aid you as he can with his nature roll. He's going to hit exactly the DC to aid. So you will gain a +2 in your own roll to try to learn this over the rest of the evening. So give me a nature roll here.
Okay. Ooh, that's a 25.
And you are successful. So with the expenditure of those resources and about 3 hours before resting, you would be able to learn Unseasonable Squall, expending the scroll's magic as well. And you can now prepare that as you would any other spell. That communion's successful.
Awesome.
So the
have one more?
following morning, as this is kind of an exhaustive, again, it's like a 3-hour process here. It's not exactly brief. The following morning, he would be more than happy to assist you again in attempting a further one, which he is going to succeed at as well, granting you a +2 to your check to learn what's the second thing.
It's a level 2 spell, Sea Surge.
And learning that one off the scroll is going to cost you 6 gold of materials in addition to the scroll itself.
I'll get right on that.
I have an emerald. If I don't know if that's worth, but I could just expend that.
Oh yeah, we gave you an emerald for learning.
Yeah, I wanted to use it at some point.
Oh, right. You got this emerald from the catacombs themselves, I believe. Actually from here, right?
Yeah, it was from here, I believe, down in the underground.
You could absolutely expend the emerald. Focus it through the gemstone and conduct your ritual that way.
Cool.
So kind of give me your nature check for Sea Surge.
24.
Easily successful there as well. So through an evening and a morning after, you have communed with Reginald here at the Hermitage in this holy location of Gazra, defiled as it may have been in recent times. And with Sea Surge and Unseasonable Squall, you have gotten directly the wind and the waves combined into your spell list there. The most appropriate things you could pick up. And I imagine that morning, with some of the druids being dispatched out to the tower before dawn's light even, Reginald would see you off as you need to be back at your campground as soon as possible to prepare for your travel the following day. Reginald himself is also somewhat urgent to get, or somewhat insistent on getting out to the tower to see the situation of things that he can see. And the two of you, if there's nothing else that you want here, I assume, head back to the circus grounds.
Sounds good to me.
Meanwhile, as day turns to night, turns to day again. A cloudy, fire day morning comes to the rest of the Circus of Wayward Wonders, Zerg, and Ara, as preparations are nearing completion. Most of the wagons are packed, everyone's ready. Supplies have been rationed out, and more food, tinder, lamp oil, and other camping equipment has been gathered from the general store in Aberton to prepare yourselves for a fairly long journey to Escadar. It's going to take you 4 or 5 days to get there. Again, it's crossing almost the entire island, and well, the island of Erin has always kind of been the neglected stepchild of the Starstone Isles. It's not great for roads and whatnot. But Ara and Zerg, if there's nothing further you want, Zerg, at the very least, assuming that you would return to your wagon at least to sleep, and you're not disappearing again that night. You're staying around, even if you are kind of keeping to yourself.
Yeah. Following along, keeping my distance.
Fire Day morning, Selwyn and Arabis are making their preparations to return. As you awaken, at least still needing to tend to the most basic of human needs, you need food. Ilva, who I finally found cool art for, would approach you. Hands still kind of folded in front of her, not straight up to you, keeping a cautious distance, but stopping about 4 or 5 feet away from you. And doesn't immediately say anything at first, just waits patiently for you to finish whatever you're doing, eating, I assume.
Yeah. Chowing into something. Big old hunk of meat.
Zerg.
Yes. Yes. Hello.
I understand your pain. This that you feel for your friend, for Lizard Man. And I have tried my best to give you your space to grieve, to allow you your mourning, and to leave you your peace. But I want to at least offer and make sure you know that it is rare that I find myself lost for words these days. I tell stories. It is my job. It is my life, even. It is what is inscribed on my skin, but matters as these, they never become mundane. They never become normal, no matter how many times I am faced with similar sorrows. I want you to know that I am here to help, if you want.
So he's gonna stand up, sort of toss away whatever I had in my hands, hunted
Stuck
meat,
in the fire.
and yeah, and sort of slowly approach. Yes, I understand this telling stories on your skin to remember the things you do not want to forget. You actually gave me good thinkings. I do something similar. And Zerg unwraps this bandage that's wrapped around his upper arm to reveal a new tattoo, red on Zerg's green skin, of a lizard's tail wrapped around a sword in a stone. It says "Climb Forever" emblazoned around it. Yes, I think
Yes.
this is good memory, yes?
And she reaches out.
This is in Orcish, I should say.
Okay, yeah, she doesn't know Orcish, so she reaches out very, very gently, not touching the tattoo itself, but just lightly running her forefinger across the skin around it. Yes. That way, his memory lives on even after he himself could tell his story. It is what my people have always done. It is the Shoanti way. It is how we carry the stories of our mothers and fathers and their mothers and fathers, and two of brothers and sisters of blood and of steel.
Zerg is very overwhelmed with an emotion other than apathetic and angry, so he's struggling.
He's
a
not
little
used to other options in the spectrum.
Yeah. Just gives over the biggest like embracing hug ever. Come on, let's go. They wait for us.
We have day. My things, I do not have much for possessions, for trinkets. It did not take me long to prepare. I am ready. There's nothing more I must do today. So, Zerg, tell me stories of Lizard Man. I have told you many. It is your turn to share tales.
I think Zerg is just going to spend the day regaling all of the adventures we'd had up to that point. But however long that's going to take, I mean, I figure that's going to take a while.
You guys go way back, at least to the menagerie, so you've got plenty, I'm sure. So while you're telling Ylva what tales you have Wolf13 Red in the chat. I see my wolf friend running low on points. Can't have that. A hero point for Arubis. Wolf to wolf. And additionally,
Thank you.
formerly Vigus Phallus with a tip to throw out a hero point. Hashtag Bryn for the ethereal being wherever you may appear. This time, don't die, forehead.
I'll try not.
With the greatest wisdom a Twitch chat can offer.
Yep.
Don't die, forehead.
Just don't do the thing, forehead.
Ara, what are you, do you even, like, have stuff? What are you even really doing as everyone's getting ready to leave tomorrow?
Well, at the start of the day, I was the first. Ara's the first one up. He's taking some little.
One thing before we left, Selwyn would have dropped an alchemist tools at Ara's door. I wouldn't have knocked or anything, but I
You
would
bought a
have.
present. So when you wake up this morning, there's alchemist tools right outside your wagon. A whole kit.
Take that whole kit, put it inside.
It is one
I
bolt.
grab.
It is field tools you can use. It's like a little testing kit almost, like
Yeah.
several little bottles, some reagents and droppers.
Neat. I'll play with that later. I grab a little whittling knife, some hunks of little wood I used to carve, go back to the entrance of the circus grounds, sit down, and just start carving, waiting for Arubis and Ara to come, or Arubis and Ara, Arubis and Selwyn to come back. And I'm carving little like images of a lizard the entire time.
So fairly late in the afternoon, as the journey from the Hermitage is quite long, as there's only a few hours left before the sun sets. Arubis and Selwyn would make their way back into the camp. At this point, the overcast skies having brought with them a little bit of a very light drizzle, just a misting almost, wetting the grass around and just letting what skyline Aberton has glisten in the distance. The two of you come back to a campsite almost wholly packed. It's largely just a circle of wagons at this point, as everyone's wagons have been brought around into a couple of trains on or alongside the road, ready to launch tomorrow morning, forging a trail out to the west. But as you return, not too long after, it becomes apparent that you are not the only pair making their way out to the former grounds of the Circus of Wayward Wonders. Somebody at some point would see a figure approaching the group of you from much the same direction, but a little further out to the west-northwest. Straight out, off far really from any real roads or trails, just out through the trees, almost straight in the direction of the Aaron Tower. This figure's pretty small, appearing only to be about 3.5 feet tall. And as it comes out of the tree line, almost imperceptible at first, it comes alone towards the circus ground. And, what exactly do they see here?
Aha. So they'd see a old,
Godly.
gnarled figure, walking cane, hunched over, slowly walking towards the circus. Kind of not walking in a straight line, almost weaving a bit, kind of following the paths of the roots, heading into the circus.
Do I see this?
Yes.
Someone would pick up on it at some point, and it would not take too long before attention was called to what appears to be a bush that has just gotten up and walked out of the tree line towards the circus grounds. Not quickly at all, hobbling along.
I would walk up to it immediately. Excuse me, sir?
Yes.
Would you mind answering a question for me?
Well, certainly. I have many answers. Which question do you have in particular?
Okay, what's 2 plus 2?
Why don't? Is this some kind of trick question? Because you did
No,
not
just-
say at the
just-
time.
Just no tricks. Just what's 2 plus 2?
Well, I've heard that it was 4, but I don't want to assume.
All right, not related to Aura.
Wait, what?
Sorry, I would recognize this was a Leshy, right? I've been traveling with
As
one.
you get up close to this thing, the Leshy you've been traveling with so far, Ara looks quite different. He's almost like a little wooden doll.
But it's a walking plane.
But
right?
this is clearly a walking plant, yes, and looks somewhat
okay.
similar. It's about the same general size, but this is like an elderly willow, shrunken down, drooping, ancient, dangling, gnarled locks of matted mosses hanging all over his figure as his bark of his face is dark and gnarled with age as he literally hobbles along with a little staff.
Right.
Oh, Leshies.
Yeah. Sorry, my experience with Leshy is limited, although more expanded than most. Doesn't
Well,
matter.
there are very few of us, as I have come to know. But I know you have at least one in your party, do you not?
Yes, and if you don't mind me asking, I haven't seen you around the circus grounds before. Sorry, where are my manners? I'm Selwyn. I'm the
Ah.
leader of this operation, as it were, and I'll extend the hand.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Hemlock Barkbeard, is what I feel like a good name would be. But I'm a hemlock tree, so I feel like that's fairly obvious. It is a pleasure to meet you, but I know a bit about all of you, as the paths between plants are not linear, but knowledge does get around the forest, and here we are in the Blue Aeron Forest, and that is my forest.
All right, I understood nothing of that, but let's assume I did. So what brings you to our grounds, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, just recently, I was a respectable stationary hemlock. Very respectable in staying in one place, but recently, I have awoken. I think the pulse of energy from the Aeon Tower has directed me from less of my staying in one place and shooed me along. And the wind has brought me to your group. I had heard whispers through the forest about a girl that was born of prophecy. And I was pushed along in this direction.
And so
At this point,
putting up,
like everyone at the circus ground certainly would have noticed this little creature's appearance, and I mean, Leshies are pretty far from common, so I imagine it would have attracted everybody's attention. So you all would clearly see Selwyn now talking to Hemlock Leshy, maybe 20 feet up across the road towards the tree line.
Ara just appears right behind Selwyn.
Ah,
It's like freaking
this
Luigi.
is the
Just
Sprout.
yes.
Lovely to meet you, Sprout.
I take a look at the new Leshy, look around for something to stand on. 'Cause I am apparently shorter than this one as well. Stand on my tiptoes. Selwyn, who's this? Are you replacing me?
Hemlock Barkbeard.
Please don't replace me.
I'm not replacing you. I'm pretty sure this one can't light things on fire. Can you light
Not
things
to
on
worry,
fire?
I cannot, in fact, light things on fire, nor would I want to.
Why not?
I see no reason for things to be on fire.
That is certainly a perspective. Can't take that away. So, I'm gonna regret asking this. Child of prophecy, huh?
Well, yes. Well, surely you know. I mean, you've been next to. It's that right? I am sure I heard the right thing. I've heard it's long ago, actually.
It wouldn't happen to be a human
What are
girl.
you
would it?
doing with? What is this? What did you say?
It wouldn't happen to be a human girl. This child of prophecy.
Well, it's a druid that sprouted. Fairly long ago, I think, but I don't know. I haven't heard from her since. It's been quite a while.
Well, what do you wish with her?
Well, I'd like to meet her if I could.
Of course.
And Arvis, you can clearly see all of this at this point. If you haven't come to this, you may not be able to hear the conversation, but you can
I'll
see
wave her up
it's like a
if she hasn't.
pack of freaking leshies around Selwyn.
There's another one.
Alwyn, are you okay?
No, I'm very much not okay. I thought I felt bad yesterday. I feel worse.
Did you eat the Zerg meat again?
No, I didn't. Phrasing? First of all.
That's what. Crying.
Second of all, this is Barkbeard, Hemlock Barkbeard.
Hemlock.
He has been looking for a child of prophecy, and I do believe that the child of prophecy in question may very well be, well, the only druid that we have around, aka you.
Okay.
Yeah, say hi. Come on, courtesy.
Hello, Hemlock.
Hello?
Are you actually a hemlock tree?
I would have thought that was obvious.
Well, we're talking.
Yeah, I've never
This is
seen
true.
a hemlock tree walk around either. It's kind of weird.
Are you sure your
Oh.
name's not Korik?
Oh, quite sure. I just
Okay.
made this name up just recently, actually.
Okay, just making sure.
What's that?
Sounds about right.
You're looking for something. You're looking for me?
Well, yes, we have actually met before. Although, I should say I have met you. You have met me, although not directly. I am the part of the blue Aeron force that surrounds us, and the force communicates. As you have been communicating with the forest, you have been communicating with me.
Okay, then. But that does not answer how you know of prophecy. It's not widely known from my experience.
Well, I am a very old tree. And actually, I most of the knowledge from the forest is from a very long time ago. As I said before, the paths of knowledge through the forest are not linear, so it could take years for knowledge to get from one side to the other. But many, many, many years ago, there was a prophecy. And though I do not know if you are the one, the winds have whispered that there is the druid. The druid that sprouted from prophecy.
I love the literally telling a story like an old man that just goes in a circle 100 fucking
It's
times and
amazing.
doesn't go anywhere. Got that shit down pat.
I'm practicing.
But
Ah.
real quick, because Chad could not help themselves here.
I hold so much hatred in my heart.
Biggest throwing out a tip for this new arrival here. Can't not reward this shit. Take your points, Bryn. Which is gonna load you right back up to the ye olden full hero point capacity. Just rocketing you from 2 to 6. See, the secret is costuming. It's the same reason you get all the hero points in Age of Ashes, because your stupid cowboy hat.
Don't hate on the hat,
cowboy
dude.
hat.
Howdy.
I love the cowboy hat.
I
But
do too.
also, before your spectacular fucking wig reveal here, biggest phallus as well, there is but one truth. The world is dark, Squid. Time for some candle fun time. Giving me 2 villain points. So I'm no longer empty. I'm ready. So, as you all meet Barkbeard here, and seem to very, very slowly work out of him any kind of a roundabout purpose, or, well, what little he really seems to even have to be able to tell you. Eventually, Zerg, I'm sure. Zerg, what are you doing this whole time, by the way? Because you definitely can also see this.
Watching and just like,
I wanna look up at Zerg and it's like give the motion like, you see this shit? Look at this.
see this shit. What the fuck is another one?
Another one. Me.
And as you,
Go away.
like miming to each.
We're probably
As
right
you-
next to each other, but we're like not talking.
Like 6 feet apart.
next to you is Bartholomew.
Social distancing.
Bartholomew just kind of looking, his cape on even. He just wears it around all the time. The
Of
top
course
hat
he
not
does.
so much, but at least the cape he does.
What a
Oh, your
dork.
friend has found more strange little plant people.
It's
I'll
rude.
leave them all around that forest, Zerg.
Excuse me?
This is
Zerg.
back with Zerg. He's not over by the.
Oh,
the group
right. I
here.
thought you said Zergo. I was like, did I mishear my own name?
No, that's you. Oh, you found another one of those strange little plant people out on your journey, did you?
I didn't find anything. Burn it down. I do not trust this forest. I do not trust him. I do not trust Little Plant. They scare me, okay? Let's be honest. I didn't say anything until now. They scare me. I'm concerned about them.
He just kind
What
of
do they
looks
want?
over. Looks over at Ara and Barkbeard. And back here, well, I'm sure they look a little bit strange, I suppose, but seems rather harsh.
I just don't trust them. This is all.
Besides, if there's anything I've seen from Ara's performances so far, burning seems to be about all he's interested in.
As soon as he
Good
says that,
point.
produce flame flies up into the sky. I was like, fuck you.
Like,
To
oh,
show
yeah.
Barkbeard that I can make fire.
Good
Exhibit
point.
A, I
Maybe fire
suppose.
no good.
But with the circus kind of looking on, eventually, as Barkbeard has gotten functionally no further in trying to explain much of anything, the professor would make his way over, seeing the group of you gathered around a small creature here, just largely out of curiosity. Well, everyone, we all have your wagons prepared, your things packed and ready. You have your meals set. You're good on food and supplies.
Well, if I ever wanted to go vegan, now would be the time.
He just kind of looks down at Barkbeard. And, I'm sorry, my good fellow. I don't believe we've been properly acquainted. Are you, one of our Lulus, Ken?
Well, I'm part of your group now, and I'll thunk him on the head with my staff.
Is this-
I'm quite finished. There's many people around here, and they have very many questions. I can only answer so many answers.
Oh, you wanted to join our circus? Well,
I'm already a part of your circus. I have already talked to Selwyn.
Wait, hold up a second.
Professor just kind of looks down to Solon.
Selwyn, what are you doing?
I didn't do anything!
So I look up at Selwyn. Can we keep him?
Okay,
Well, certainly, lad.
Taking,
I will
taking a
keep
bit
you
of a
in
step
line.
back, the professor.
hold up a second here.
Well, what is your act, good
See,
fellow?
yeah, exactly.
You didn't even ask their act, Selwyn.
I didn't tell them they could. I wasn't asked.
Well, we'll have to figure that out in time. But patience is the nature of trees, and you could learn some from that.
Well,
I tell him that all the time.
Well,
It's
he doesn't
amazing.
eat. Well, I guess it's not a
Hi.
negative. He doesn't eat food.
I must say that's not exactly how I've seen a circus run traditionally. Acts don't simply spring up out of the ground like a
Well, not all acts are plants, so, you've got
He's
to
got a
win
point.
some and you lose some.
The professor just
already
looks
got one.
confused.
I am flabbergasted,
Just turns to Selwyn. Well,
dumbfounded.
Selwyn, you're a ringmaster now, so I suppose it's your call.
Right? Yeah, but I mean, I guess
Well,
there's.
it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, and Ara, where are you normally situated?
I fold my arms. I feel like we should reject her out of principle.
I'll start walking into the circus ground. And it's like this old hovel.
Selwyn.
Yes, that's me.
There,
I'm Selwyn.
this is another sign from the Storm Lord.
Oh, I knew you'd say that.
The wind literally brought him to me. He knows of the prophecy, Selwyn.
The wind could kill him. Look at him.
I suppose that there's always room for more hands and roustabouts. There's always more menial tasks that need doing.
I'm going to pull out a
Certainly
small
wouldn't turn
vial
our
from
nose up at what appears to be free labor.
from my undercoat and just down it.
What did you just drink, Selwyn?
You're too young for this kind of stuff. Don't ask. It's too strong for you.
Okay.
The professor just kind of shakes his head. Well, if he's willing to share a wagon with Nara, I suppose there's no real problems if he has his own food and supplies sorted. And if I've seen much of how you work, little friend, you don't need much of either, really.
Yeah, just a good sunny spot and some nice water.
Hopefully he does more work than the little plant.
Well, then I suppose we're further ready to travel out on the morn. Ara's powers
suppose
have
so.
certainly come in useful more than once for preparations, and maybe this strange fellow can help in his own way. I'd keep an eye on him, perhaps. This seems
Suspicious?
coincidental.
Wrong? Awful?
Well, particularly for him to arrive on the eve of our departure to set up shop right underneath Mistress Dusklight's nose. We know she already had agents in Aberton right after our opening act. So,
I'm going to be honest. I don't think even Dustlight's that elaborate.
you don't know Dusklight, my dear.
I think I do. I just, first of all, she'd have to get in contact with a plant like that. Second of all, she'd have to cut the plant, go around us, go up to the Tower of Aaron, then come from that direction down to us, then make that long-ass introductory speech, then fool us. All that together.
And
It does seem
I find it
unnecessarily
unlikely.
complicated, to be fair, but,
I don't think he's capable of that.
well, that's largely exactly our problem. We don't know what he's capable of.
I can go ask.
Yes, that would be a good idea. Ask him what he can do for us. It's a great
Um,
idea.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'll
so-
just waving a clipboard a bit. I'm going to finish this checklist and make sure our preparations are in order. We should be ready to leave around sunrise tomorrow morning. Hopefully the weather doesn't get any worse.
This weather is perfection.
Prof, while I have you, do you know anyone who could refit the Thunder's clothing to my size?
A tailor? Oh, there are plenty of some repute within Eskedar, but
But none before.
none I've worked with personally, and none that I know along the road. Truth be told, we've had to stock up for this journey as we'll be passing fair few villages on our path along the southern coast.
Right. Figure out to ask. Unfortunate.
Very well. And he just kind of looks back towards Barkbeard, who's at this point all the way in the camp. Keep an eye on our new friend, will you? I'll be finishing my list. Pleasant evening, everyone. And the professor
Yes.
takes his leave.
I need more to drink.
So,
Yeah, I'm gonna run off with Barkbeard.
with that,
I don't need
and
this. Sell when I come for a drink with you.
Excellent idea.
with that, and with Barkbeard having, well, largely just inserted himself into the circus here, the evening finishes with much last-minute hubbub. Everyone trying to make sure everything is in order, prepared, and ready for the following morning. It's about time to leave, everyone. Any last-minute things we want to do in Aberton? Last call for Aberton-based business.
I just
yeah.
want to run to the shopkeep and say goodbye. I like that dwarf.
That's a good idea. Selwyn, you should go with Aura.
No, yeah, I am.
He liked you. He was a big fan of
So
yours.
was.
Selwyn and Arabis want to head back into town to the general store. Anybody heading with them?
So I want an aura.
Oh, sorry, Selwyn and Ara. I don't
Yeah.
know why. Like, if you consider having less the same name.
We. uh.
They
Does
consider that
anybody-
they just haven't done a good job.
Anybody else going with them? Either the rest of you three? Zerg? Or Arabis?
Yeah,
No?
I'll tag along. I'll tag along.
The Zerg, Selwyn, and Ara head back down to Varn's shop, where, as you're getting ready for things, shortly after sunup, you arrive right as Varn is opening the door, and prop in his rough little wooden triangle underneath the front stop to hold it open. He turns and looks at the group of you. Thought
I
you was
wave.
leaving.
Yeah, we're just here to say goodbye.
You need something?
I already need something.
I just wanted to say goodbye to him.
Just kind of
I could use maybe some kind of I forgot what I was saying. Too distracted. Goodbye.
Well, if you need
Goodbye.
anything, I'm gonna be inside. And
Oh no, one, and before he leaves,
He turns and
Wow.
he's told that he stops one step up over the threshold already, just stops facing away from you.
and I'll give him a smile, switch to fluent Dwarven. I cordially invite you to fuck off forever, and I'll leave.
He just turns back around as you're already walking away. I imagine Ara and Zerg are following immediately, and either of you speak Dwarven?
Nope.
You have no idea what Selwyn just said.
Nope.
I fucking hate gnomes. Turns back around.
Bye, Mr. Nice Dwarf. I turn
And
around
heads
and
back
walk
into
away.
just throws a hand up and heads back into his shop. So, the wagons are gathered, the trains readied, and well, all the various horses and oxen you have to pull your different pieces of the caravan along, readied up and on the road. And so begins what is going to be a very long journey. But wait! As you're ready to leave, as the first couple wagons have already pulled out a way to head, you see one of the druids from the Hermitage, one of the two that had come back around after you'd rescued Reginald, rushing up towards the caravan, waving one hand frantically, trying to flag you guys down and get your attention.
Right?
And behind him-
has my attention.
The woman that had been with him as well. And as they approach, the woman has a fairly large burlap bundle. Not so much a sack, it's just a big bulky wrap of things in front of her. As she's tottering behind him, trying to keep up as he rushes forward to stop the whole train from leaving. He's like, "Oi! Hold on! Oh! We're supposed to get here before sundown, but it took a little longer than we expected. Ugh. Whew. He leans against one of the wagons there, just kind of panting. Will you hurry up? Back to the one behind him who's just hauling what has to be a massive, torso-sized bundle of things. Just calls out, I'm walking as quick as I can. You can help me carry it. From the back. Oh. Selwyn, what was it?
Yep, that's me. Hi.
No, first of all, thanks for the right damn mess you left at the tower. We cleaned that one up for the better part of a week.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize that we had to make it presentable, too. Oh, it wasn't enough that we saved the whole isle.
Okay. Well, Reginald came through last evening. I found a few things of interest. He figured you'd want with you. This, you mean to tell me that you and your friends killed like 24 of these lizard folk by yourselves?
Not lizard folk. Solgath. Not the same thing.
And the girl gets up and she finally catches up there. The Trogs! And just
Yes.
bumps in the Trogs! He told you! They're nature too, they're natural, they're not some abominations. Why do I have to carry all of this shite? And the man turns back
Here,
up, because I didn't want
I
to.
can take that from you. Here. Just
No,
give that over to me.
No, we're not handing you our stuff.
And the woman,
yes.
hearing
We're not
the
on
voice,
that
Just right here.
hearing the
Nope.
voice, but not really able to see who's there. Kind of just like, because there's things in front of her. You sure? And hands it
Yep,
down
I got
towards
it, not to
Bart.
worry.
Great. This bundle the size of his entire body.
I'll sprint. If I see you go over the stuff, I'll sprint up.
And I'm going to sprint away from him with all the stuff.
Wait, get
He
back to
takes
the
it in
stuff.
bolts. Just
Oh no.
apparently unburdened by this massive package.
I
Another George is
have
kind of
hefty
looking.
holla, and you will not catch me.
Get back here.
Surprised
fast are you?
quick.
He's pretty fast.
Damn, that bundle was heavy.
What's her movement speed? How fast is she? Do I catch up to her?
How fast are you, Buckbeard?
I'm probably not super fast. Let me see here. Speed is 35.
Oh my god, she is faster than me.
Buckbeard's fucking gone. He just takes off with all the stuff. The George is kind of looking almost slack-jawed. God, that's heavy. And the lady just, that bush is fast as hell.
Don't touch my stuff!
Someone runs off after the rest of you here.
You're gonna have to work out more, young lady. You're really slowing us down here.
Well,
Get back here with my stuff!
we found some of this equipment that was left behind by the Trogs, or stashed or worn by much of them, and most of it's admittedly not much use to us. And he figured, spoils victory, way of nature. It's certainly yours by right. There's just a lot in there: weapons, suits of armor, some magic and wands.
My stuff!
Like Scooby-Doo behind you, just running back and forth through the wagons, marking with his big haul of stuff as big as he is. And, well, don't let us keep you, though. We gotta get back to the Hermitage before nightfall, and I know you're looking to be underway. And the man nods, still leaning against the wagon. How does he run like that? Who's when to
Probably
carry the
magic.
thing 100 feet? He's running out like it's nothing. By the gods. We need more physical training in our life of piety, I think.
Or magic.
So they have brought to you, and they'd be able to tell you what everything was, because Reginald's able to fairly easily identify it all. You have a +1 striking maul, a huge mallet that anyone would recognize as the weapon that Squall Kanta had swung around, with 2 runes set in the underside of the head of the club, as well as a set of +1 scale mail that he had been wearing. Additionally, there is a wand of second level heal. And is this our first wand in Extinction Curse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wands work very differently in second edition now, and they're kind of neat. They're a daily resource rather than a limited one. You can just, if heal is a spell you can cast, you can just pull a second level heal out of that wand every day, once per day. No roll, no nothing. You can just cast it just like it's on your spell list.
So there's
You
a
can,
roll.
what?
There is a roll.
Well, the healing, I guess, but
Yeah.
no check to
It's
use
just-
the wand, smartass.
Just one time a day, though.
One time per day, but it doesn't have a limited number of charges like first edition ones. It's basically one extra spell slot per day that you can pull out that is a second level heal. That said, you can attempt to pull a second spell out of the wand in a given day. If you do, you roll a flat check, and it's 50-50 whether this overexertion breaks the wand or destroys it completely. So it's
Ooh.
like an extreme desperation move. But it will pull that magic out every single day.
And it's who's getting the wand?
Well, I mean, it's fairly obvious, right? It's one of the two people who can cast the spell.
And the third thing they brought back. The third thing they brought back are a pair of bangles that appear to be of ivory and silver that they tell you are doubling rings. Something that probably one of the other, what are they called? One of the other chieftains of the Trogs there may have been using, but they had it in a box. They hadn't had it on them. Doubling rings are an interesting conduit of magic. And when you put these bracelets on, any enchantment, any runes, any magic that you have in a weapon on one hand will be duplicated onto the weapon you hold in your other hand. So I think there's
I mean,
literally no question whatsoever who that's going to, obviously.
Aura.
Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
exactly.
That's dual
Yeah,
fireballs.
that's what we were thinking. Yes.
But with this
I
last
know my
load of loot,
stuff.
with this last load of loot, as the caravan gets underway, you guys head out across the Isle of Arran towards Escadar. Almost kind of retracing your steps, heading back from whence you came a year ago when you'd all first left. And this journey, like I said, is going to be a fairly long one. It's going to take you some time, probably the better part of the week even, to get across this frickin' island. Because while it's not huge, it's big enough. You leave on the 9th of Faraz, the star day. You are going to arrive on the 14th, the following Oath Day. After a 5-day journey of slowly increasing restlessness and general anxiety across the group. What's up, Ara?
Would it be possible to use that time to craft?
Absolutely.
4 days.
Anything that you want to do with your downtime here, you are very much just waiting for days to pass. None of you have to pilot your own caravans. You have roustabouts as drivers and handlers for most of the animals, the oxen, the horses that pull everything. So you do have these days entirely as downtime. If anybody wants to use them to craft or to try to identify anything that you have left around, I know there is a small assortment of potions and whatnot that you have, and now that you have alchemical tools.
And that we can do it. But there is I do want to actually try to make some spell scrolls.
Okay. You could certainly do that. What are you trying to craft? What level of a thing here?
It'd be just level 1 heals. And I can craft them as a group, right? Since it's consumable.
Because they are consumables, yes. Consumables get made in packs of 4. And crafting a scroll actually does not require a feat or anything in 2nd edition. You can just kind of do that now. Is you just have to be able to cast magic, and you have to be able to have the vellum and the magical inks and everything to create the things. So yeah, given the crafting time that you have, go ahead and give me a craft check to create your first batch. You have time to create, I believe, 2 batches over the course of this journey. And a batch does not have to be a ton of copies of the same scroll. Oh, they do actually have to be the same spell, actually. It have to be the same spell and the same level.
Yep. Oh, it depends on how many. It's up to 4 in a batch, right?
Up to 4 in a batch, yeah.
And that depends on how much money Mama Solomon's going to give Ara to.
All right, how much is he asking in allowance?
Well, I want to do four scrolls, so that would be what? 4 times 4, right?
For what level?
First level.
Oh, for first level scrolls? Yeah,
That's
for
all I know how
16
to
gold.
make.
Maybe
Yeah,
16
16.
gold, yeah.
All right. Yeah, we can splurge 32 gold and get 2 batches.
Just more heal spells, right?
Yep.
Yep. All right, go ahead and give me a craft check.
Oh boy. 23.
And these are a first level item. So a 23 will succeed. And over the first half of the journey, you would be able to create 1 batch of first level heal scrolls. And with the items that you had acquired before you left, you would be able to do 1 more. And
One more.
before you roll this one, we have 1 more while we were setting all this up. Tip coming through from Spamatron. Ara's solo hero point looks lonely. Have 2 hero point.
You're
Thank
now
you,
Ara's best
Spamatron.
friend.
Oh, Rip Barkbeard. He was your best friend for almost 5 whole minutes.
All right. And it's so we'll do the second one, or a 23.
So again,
He's
you'd be able to
not
be
a master.
easily successful here. So with the travel, you'd be able to create 8 first level heal scrolls.
That's good stuff.
No problems whatsoever, really. Writing down magic apparently comes pretty second nature to you.
That's good. I'm happy I can do something.
And I would like to take the journey as an opportunity to craft a new act.
Okay. So a new act is going to take a week of downtime. So you'll be able to get the groundwork laid, and we'll say you get the general planning put out. But it's difficult to really practice while you're on the move here. So you can do 5 days worth of this downtime. And then I'll give you that at some point within the next week or so, you're going to need to spend 2 more days actually practicing the act itself to finish it off.
Right.
And we'll have you make the necessary check then. Speaking of, does anybody else want to do anything else while you're traveling? Because this changing act doesn't seem like anyone else want to make any changes to their act. I mean, I hate to, poke the sore spot here, but I feel like Zerg may be in need of a performance makeover.
Well, yeah, I mean, Zerg's performance was a strongman act with the addition of fighting wild creatures. We sort of removed that second part now, but
You can
what
still-
else
I-
does Zerg have beside his strongs?
I would say you could definitely just keep it as a more traditional solo strongman act.
Refine the
without,
strongman act, I suppose.
Yeah, without having to rework your show or anything.
Mm.
But just trying to figure out what exactly you're going to do alone.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out myself. I lift heavy things.
It
This
is
is it.
Nog.
You lift our spirits.
Those are very heavy.
Behold, log.
I'm gonna give 4 of these scrolls to Arbus too.
Oh, you have wonderful penmanship.
Thank you. I've been practicing.
It's beautiful. Huh?
I show him the first scroll. This looks like a child scribbling on it.
Okay.
So, after a fairly lengthy journey here, you are eventually, finally, going to be in sight of Escadar. Now, you've all been here before, but it's been some time. It's fairly obvious you're approaching, first, by the smells. Aberton was a decent distance from the coast, and while you made your way down to the Hermitage a few times, the sharp tang of salt in the air is difficult to miss, and you know that you're coming nearer the ocean before the city itself or any of its travel even comes into view. The roads, what little there are still, are almost largely barren, as Escadar's trade is almost completely from sea. You start to see gulls swooping and crying overhead as you approach. And then, within the hour, grandiose, massive, multi-storied buildings at the city's center rise above sprawling markets and somewhat squalid tenements. As you can see out into the ocean, the massive sails of proud ships sail in and out of the huge harbors, with the wind behind them and laborers and travelers milling about the docks and quays. It is certain that Escadar is a port at heart, and honestly is very little more than that. The Isle of Arran doesn't really have a lot going for it, you may have noticed, vis-a-vis Aberton in general. And this is by far the biggest settlement here, and has nothing to do with the island in the first place. The docks are the life of the city, and as the ocean waves against the piers, the tide of humanity ebbs and flows throughout the ports. The streets are packed with hawkers shouting various offers and wares to passerby, and fishmongers all along the roads singing out their daily catches, meandering past through crowded market stalls. Unlike Aberton, armed guards in navy blue uniforms and bronze badges patrol almost every stretch and every busy intersection, constantly scanning the crowds, the traders, the citizens, and the merchants. Dirty-faced urchins start underfoot, seeking for dropped coins or sometimes just loosely tended purses. It's not a great city, really. As Escadar is known as much for its ports as it is for its illicit brothels, its drug lairs, and its gambling dens.
Sounds like my kind of city.
Depends on what you're into, I guess. It's a place that exists. And as you reach the edges of the city, it bears no walls or anything, just squat, muddy roads and tightly packed buildings ringed around the outside, a far cry from the huge parliaments you can see in the middle of the city. A pair of guards posted on the road step forward, and your whole train comes to a halt as they stop the lead wagons. The professor motions to Selwyn to come down with him, but anyone who wishes to come down and see what's going on, as this has all kind of come to a very sudden stop rather than into the city like you were expecting, you're all free to join.
All right. Yeah, well, I'm falling down.
I would go with Selwyn.
I'm gonna go with Arbus.
Well, this seems important. I should probably be there.
Don't touch my stuff.
Not that you would know if I had.
So as you step down there, sort of brutish guard, about his mid-30s, pretty thick, dark stubble across his chin, tall helmet strapped on his head and bronze badge displayed pretty prominently, steps up in front of your wagons, holding his hand up high, and as the group of you approach, he looks across for no apparent leader of the group of you.
I'll
You're not
step
expecting any caravans coming in today. What's the meaning of this?
We are but simple circus folk, my guardsman friend.
Ah, let me see your licenses then.
The fuck's the license?
Just kind of looks to the other guard and looks back to you. You leader of this caravan train, ma'am.
Of sorts. I look up to the professor. Where's our license?
And he looks to you. I've never had to set this up before, lass. I wasn't running the show when it was the menagerie. As you're clearly
Fair.
muttering amongst yourselves, the guard puts his hand down, looks almost a little confused. Oh, we ain't just letting in any straggling merchant caravans into the city. You gotta have your papers in order. You gotta get approval from the Merchants Council.
Bureaucracy
Well,
in a city?
How do we do that?
And he looks and sees the dozens of wagons you have in your train here that have all come to a stop, and assorted roustabouts and carnies piling out for a drink or a smoke or just to kind of see what's going on. With a group of this size, I imagine you got to take it up with the chief constable. You're, he looks down.
So for
Okay,
interest
so-
of not blocking the road for ages on end while the paperwork's in order, can we please move along first?
Well, I can't let you into the city, not without your papers. That's, I'm trying to
Come on,
figure out what we
surely
can do
somebody-
with you. This is, quite a gathering you got coming in. You're gonna need to head to
Yes.
Conclave Square in town to speak with the chief constable. You got approval for this before we can let you in. And even then, I don't think we got space for you.
Sure you do. Plenty of space in a town like this.
And he looks back at the crap hole that is the outer areas of the city, where a bunch of little urchins have gathered around to come peer at all your brightly painted wagons and caravans. Oh, you sure as hell don't, ma'am. But, and he waves the other guard over, and she steps forward, and he puts a hand on her shoulder and mutters something to her real quick, and she nods and heads off into town. It's gotta be my shift. It's always gotta be my shift. Look,
I offer an innocuous smile.
I don't know what I'm gonna be straight with you, ma'am. I'm not sure what better to do with your wagons for right now than to just have you haul them around and pull them off to the side of the road for the time being. See if we can get you approval or not.
All right. Won't that fuck up your roads? Or
He just kind of
Block
looks
others.
at the dirt. It's not like they get use. I mean, don't exactly get land trade. Are there even other cities on this island? Where'd you even come from?
Aberton, small town. Wouldn't have heard of it.
Just thinking for a second. No, I haven't.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
All right, well, get your teamsters, get your wagons turned around. I suppose you can just stay put. It's not like anyone else is going to be needing to use this.
Yeah, I guess we're just staying put then. Thank you.
So, well, you need to go to Conclave Square. You can't sit here indefinitely, but
Well, no, I wasn't planning to.
look, I sent my partner off to see what we can figure out. We can find any kind of space, what we can do for you. But I mean, we weren't expecting nothing coming through today. I think
Why should we send
I
a
think
messenger?
Andra is busy. I don't even know if she's got openings to see you, ma'am.
I'm sure she'll see us. This seems rather important.
And
Not like there's much else going on, right?
the professor jumps in for a moment here. Well, Miss Selwyn here is our ringmaster, I suppose, is more than capable of sorting things out in town. Aren't you?
Yes. I hope.
Oh, fantastic. I suppose that gives you and your friends something to do while I suppose figure out what we're going to do with this delay. I knew we'd have to get paperwork in order, but I figured we'd at least be able to make it into the city first.
So this whole
Well-
paperwork thing, is that a new thing? Is that something you've done for a long time? I asked the guard.
And the guard kind of shrugs. It's pretty standard fare, ma'am. You can't just park 24 wagons in town without paying for land and having proper licensing. We don't know. We gotta know where you're coming from, what you're doing, your purpose.
I'm gonna start like getting close to this guy and just like sniffing him.
He's just gonna kind of
No sniffing. No sniffing. No need to be brave. I'm extremely helpful.
Someone
He's
kind of
like-
pulls you back as you get a little closer.
Sorry, circus folk, bunch of weirdos, misfits, rejects of society.
They're freaks.
I kind
What-
of figured
what do you
from the
think?
Nice
wagon.
What do
looking,
you
did I
think
want to
for-
put it?
You know, I hate to be the bearers of bad news to you. You do know the town's already got a circus, don't you?
Right, but we're better.
It looks
This
over
is
at all
correct.
your wagons. Right. All right. Well, I gotta
I'll
stay
sure
at this
circus
post.
is
Best
not
of
bad
luck to you. You see that tall building there? Almost the bluish wood.
Yes. I think. Do I see it?
It's on the left there, on the southwestern corner. Head straight there. That's the chief constable's building. You'll be asking for Andera Paldrine. Like I said, I don't know if she has time to see you, but that's where you're gonna get your licensing there.
All right.
And I truly mean this, man. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
And the professor nods. Indeed. I guess our whole plan sort of hinges on this now, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Well,
We
I'll
could
make
have
sure
Mr. Batsky negotiate for us.
I'll make
It's
sure the
very-
animals are tended to and let the rest of the team know what's happening. And, well, hurry back when you can, Selwyn.
Will do.
Selwyn, do you need me to come with you?
What?
Do you need me to come with you?
It's not really about need, is it?
I'll come. Not to worry. If you're nervous, I'll come with. Not to worry. So
No, I'm not really. I'm not worried. No worries here.
Good. I'm glad that you're not worried now that I'm here.
What do you even do?
Selwyn.
What do you do? I'm not
I do
quite sure
flips
I
and shit.
understand. I don't see how that has anything to do with me.
Well, no, that's why I'm asking. What do you do? And you asked me, what do I do? But no,
Oh,
you don't,
gotcha.
you're not asking. You're not answering the question. You're asking me one.
Well, recently I was a tree and I lived in the forest, but now I can walk around and stuff.
Walk exceedingly fast, clearly.
Well, yes, but I think that might be because you have been eating maybe a little too much bread.
That is bullshit, and you know it.
I
I
have
don't
been
even
trying
like
to
bread.
get him to eat her to eat more of the berries and stuff, but she's insistent upon the bread thing.
Your berries suck.
Vegetables
them
would
myself.
really do you some good.
I'm not arguing over my dietary trends.
Well, it would seem that way, yes.
You did look at.
Anyways,
Oh,
now that I'm here, I guess we should get going.
Can you at least promise you won't try to negotiate with the person and let me lead the word?
Well, I don't suppose how well you do. I'll always be a good backup here.
It's okay, Selwyn.
You seem awfully worked up, though. I don't want to stress you out. Maybe I should go by myself.
No. No. Definitely not.
Well, alright then. Then pull yourself together, lass. Pull yourself together. We'd better head out.
Oh, the group for you.
Is it
Head-
murder if it's a plant?
Let's
Head
apply which plant,
into,
please.
Head into Escadar proper. And as you pass through the outer rings of the city, it's quite a large area. Again, it's an interesting shape. The town almost linear along the coast, having grown nearly no distance at all away from the docks that are just the lifeblood of the entire city. It's very long, not very deep. And the further you get from those piers, the worse everything kind of gets. And you gotta walk in through these outer reaches here. Courtesans on every corner, always hunting for new coin. All sorts of smells and smokes coming out from various establishments. The sounds of raucous laughter and strange looks from those conducting deals they'd rather keep out of eye shots here at the edge of the city, where it's rare for travelers to come through. You make your way towards the center to this massive, again, almost light blue painted wooden building to which you've been directed, towering 3 stories tall, with an awning out front and simple faux columns holding it to give it an air of importance. A brass plaque on the front denotes it as the Civil Services Center of Escadar, with directions for the lower floor being the City Guard and licensing offices, the second floor being home to the lesser council's chambers, and the third floor assorted various businesses and clerical dealings. As you head in, it's not terribly busy. And it's almost an immediate switch flipping from the constant noise of outside to the near silence inside the building as the door shuts behind you. A scribe sitting at a front desk in a very small but fairly well-appointed, warm and well-furnished little waiting chamber greets you as you come in. Hi. Morning. He goes back to his writing.
I'll walk up. Is there a bill next to him?
There's
I got
not,
it.
no.
Well, I'll on the table. We here to see the chief constable.
And looking back up, it's a blonde-haired lad, fairly young. Next up. Oh, you have an appointment?
Sure. It's what time is it?
I'm sorry. As you get here, it's probably about noon.
All right. It's the 12:30 appointment.
And he reaches down, pulls out a drawer, and gets a little pad or something to it. Sorry, what's your name?
Selwyn. And I'll peer. Can I see the list?
As you try to kind of lean over the desk here, it's a fairly large fronted desk that honestly you would have difficulty getting up to eye level to see over it in the first place. And as you kind of try to tiptoe up to peer down, he looks up a little curiously at you. Sorry, I'm not seeing much of a Selwyn on here. Is you have a last name?
No.
Uh,
Not currently, anyway. I haven't done one in a few years.
Do you just wear your red and black jester outfit, just recreationally? Is this the thing you have on right now, or do you have people clothes?
Oh, I might be wearing that right now. I haven't had the other clothes refitted yet.
They can't really see you over the desk super well, but you can see this big frill that you have around your neck. This is Mr. Justlight's business. You have the menagerie?
Sorry?
Mr. Justlight, the menagerie? Here for circus business?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you're not the usual patron sense. It's odd. Yeah. No, I'm nothing on the appointment schedule here for Mr. Justlight. I'm very sorry.
That's odd.
Oh, sorry. With Starlight. With Starlight?
Sorry, one more time?
You with Starlight?
What's he saying?
With Stalin.
With Stalin?
He came in,
What?
live about 2 hours? Yeah, I can get you checked. Go have a seat.
How long did you say?
It's anyone's
Wow.
guess, really.
How about
But,
let me in there?
With a smile on his face, he seems to consider the conversation concluded and puts the pad back in the drawer and goes back to what he was working on.
Sir, they, constable, seeing anyone right now, right this moment?
Looks back up. Just meet with Captain's Guild of the Beach and the East Lou Company. We have your appointment here for Nadri with Mr. Stalin in about 2 hours.
But,
Yeah.
well,
Appreciate it. Punctuality. It's good.
right, but how about we just get to business fast, right? Did they get it out faster? Will you get out faster? Everything's
Well-
the whole world's greater.
Because she's met with the mercantile. He's got to be down by the dock. He's busy right now, but you Go and have
Stop
a
at
seat.
a dock.
You and your friends have a seat. We'll
Just
call
by
you
the
when your
dock.
times come. The dock is about half the city, to be fair. So down by the dock doesn't really help you.
Whereabouts down by the dock?
I
Is there any way I could replicate his jargon, like put him
You wanna try-
into, like-
make me
comfortable?
oh yeah, make me a deception check to try and kind of this
All right.
strange accent that he has. And speaking as quickly as he
18.
is. 18. You can do your best. and as you do, he looks down to you. Sorry, man, I'm just the page. Just here, run the numbers, keep the books, keep the meetings, keep the schedules. Not a personal scribe. Just run the civics desk.
But what if I asked nicely?
Well, you've been proper polite. I haven't seen nothing to call fault on. Please,
Hey,
if
Mr. Beard.
You can
Mr.
either,
Beard.
you're welcome to swim back by at your appointment in 2 hours. So you can have a seat and wait. There's plenty of room.
What was that, little sprout?
I think Selwyn's having trouble.
You see some
Selwyn,
kind of,
are you
like,
having
leaves and
trouble?
moss on the
My
desk.
eye is twitching.
Selwyn, what about those 24 caravans? Are they going to be able to move our 24 caravans out from their front door?
Salwyn, Hemlock asked you a question.
Realize.
I don't know if you heard him.
Oh, I heard.
Oh, are you hard of hearing? I could always speak up louder. Selwyn, are they going
Now,
to be
shut
doing
up!
anything?
Shut up! Shut up!
So Selwyn, who is basically leading a group of idiots from the dead and mostly succeeding, saying Fox 10 is giving you another hero point to support you in your
Fox.
endeavors, trying to guide these headless chickens around. Thank you. Zarek's just kind of, he just sort of standing
lean
there.
over. I'll lean over this desk as evilly as I can. Listen here, buddy. I'm gonna need to know what a head constable is, and I need to know it now. Time is of the essence, don't you understand? And I'll try to coerce him.
So you have to like jump up to the desk to get up to any level of over it, because the front of this desk is a good like 3.5 feet tall. So you'd be up on it, feet dangling on the other side. You can't see that to get to your maximum posing height here. And give me an intimidate check.
All right, this will be a good one. I'm using decision reroll for that one.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's just 22 bullshit. Oh, you're fucking kidding me. Okay, I guess this 22 bullshit.
The 22
Shit game.
bullshit. So, you attempt to coerce this nice young scribe here. He kind of sits back a bit in his chair. Oh, no need for that. No need for any of that. It's a nice blue morning outside.
What?
He stops for a moment. It's a nice blue morning outside, ma'am.
Right, yes. Where is the constable?
And you, at that, hear a bit of a shuffling from behind a door off to the side. And through, as it opens up, a guard kind of steps in. I hear blue morning. What's going on?
It is a lovely morning today.
It is a very lovely morning, Mr. Guard.
And the cleric just looks at the guard and kind of nods to Selwyn. He's like, "Oh, all right. The hell?" Looks across the group at you
I wave at him.
and just sighs.
I see. Code language. Right.
I hate it when the circus folk come in. Oh,
See,
you
there's a
causing
trouble.
trouble?
No. I just want to know where the head constable is so I can move those fucking wagons out of the way.
We got
There
wagons
are
for
many
it.
of them.
We've got a
Move,
secondary
people.
circus for the for Mr. Stusklight rolling in. Been planned for
Great.
weeks. I can't believe you haven't heard of it.
Surely she's made an appointment. She's been in business
Well, in
long
hours
enough.
from now.
So what's the problem?
Well, it's in hours from now.
All right.
It's
So it sounds like you
clocking up
got
the
time to
road.
kill. I
Having
can
out
recommend you
something-
a brothel.
Oh. What is a brothel?
No. Shield your innocent eyes, Ray. And your innocent ears.
What do you want me to do? Make the day go faster?
Can you?
I can't. No.
Darn. But do you know where the head constable is? We just go there, resolve it really quickly, move out, done.
And he just kind of motions. I don't know, Jess Gideon? And
I
the-
did.
The cleric shrugs. I told him she's busy. Speaking with East Blue Company. Well, sounds like she's talking to the East Blue Company.
And where are they?
Oh,
And you say by the docks.
I don't think I say your business, miss. Look. I didn't sleep well last night. I'm very tired. I haven't gotten proper coffee. Please don't make me remove you.
You should really try some chamomile tea. That'll really
Yes.
help you sleep.
He just kind of looks.
That or jasmine. Jasmine is also a very good tea for sleeping.
What about hemlock broth?
The hell are you? I don't want to know. I wash my hands of this. Gideon. If you need me to take him out, call me. I'm going back to me paper. And heads back through and shuts the door. And
Bye.
Gideon just kind of looks across the heads of the bunch of the small folk and to Zerg and Arbus. Well, you can come back in a couple hours. You can have a seat. Your call, really.
All right.
Like you said, can't make time go faster.
I'll sit down angrily.
So there's a decent amount of old, but was once well-appointed, simple leather seats against the walls. You know, your standard waiting chamber for the DMV. As you all gonna take your seats, knowing that you've got some time ahead of you. You wait. Sitting.
I would walk into the corner and where you had once seen Barkbeard is now a very, very dapper tree. Just nice sitting in the corner, very unobtrusively. In fact, if you weren't paying any attention at all, you'd just think the tree was there the whole time.
It's treason then.
Oh, I'm taking a hero point for that.
Oh no.
But as you wait and wait, an hour passes.
I'm done waiting. I go back to the caravan.
Arbus leaves. If someone doesn't stop her, Arbus gets bored and leaves. After an hour, and then a second, finally, another person comes in the door. A man standing fairly tall, looking to be a bit older, possibly early 40s, about 6'2", with brown hair, kept fairly smooth and straight back across his head, save for a almost coiffed bang, and a well-manicured mustache that just curls up the perfect amount at the tips. He's wearing an almost garish, bright pink vest over a red silk blouse with massive, huge, almost palm-sized golden buttons. 3 of them down the front of it. And as he strides in through the door and sees you 4, I suppose, the ones sitting here waiting in the room, his demeanor immediately turns to a bit of a scowl. He shakes his head and steps up to the counter. Yes, Gideon. Delamar Gyanvin, here for appointment with the head constable. And he looks down. Oh, yeah, I got this on here. Your troops here waiting for you. And he turns back. They're not with me. They're the problem.
Well, hold on. What do you mean problem?
He looks back at you. Doesn't acknowledge, and out of his purse pulls out a small little rectangle made of leather with what looks like a hefty parchment set to the front of it, and puts it down on the counter. And the cleric looks over. Yep. And stands up. Right this way then, Sir Ganvin. And steps back and opens the door. And with a nod, the man follows through before Gideon closes it behind him. And he heads back to the desk and looks at the group of you. Well, you're not with the menagerie. You're not with the Gamon's
No,
point?
I was lying for my teeth. We're here to break the heinous monopoly this town has. This outright uncapitalistic tendency it has shown. There's a free
Well-
market out there, one that has not been given its...
Maybe you just leave with the truth then, so I can set you up a proper appointment. I can give you more time and get you space and schedule. No,
And when would an
Alright.
appointment be available?
I could have had you an hour ago, but now she's busy meeting with him.
That's fair. I deserve that.
Let's see. Oh, cancellation actually. She'll be able to have a seat right out he does. Be about an hour and a half.
Alright. Great, yes.
Have a seat.
Sits down.
Ara's gonna, while waiting this hour and a half, is actually wanting to pull out his little alchemist kit and start playing with it. Because I realized I have something on me that's not identified.
So, now faced with another hour and a half of waiting. How's
I'm pulling
everyone
out my
doing?
swords and I'm sharpening them.
You've been sitting in the DMV. As soon as you pull your blades out, you put a hand. Ask you to draw your weapons in the office, please.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Thank you, kind
Come on. They're family members.
Sorry. Strict no weapons tolerance. You keep them sheathed.
I have no idea what you're saying to me.
Keep them
he
sheathed,
said
lass.
he said keep your weapon sheathed.
Oh, right, okay, I'll sheath them.
You can understand the priest at that church, but you can't understand him.
Sorry, I'm not good with accents. I can speak other languages, but accents always get me.
So, just sit back down. Artemis, what are you doing? Would you
Is
have
it,
come back after 2 hours, or?
No. I'm outside the caravans now. I checked on my wolves. I'm just sort of killing time, and I got to the point where I'm just sort of practicing my dance routine outside the caravans, just in between them, just in the open, just trying to keep myself entertained.
You're not coming back then.
No.
Artemis doesn't want to sit.
I'm
here.
gonna spend the next hour and a half vending to Sylvie.
Who would want to voluntarily sit at the DMV?
So as you wait,
At least this fucking mensal bond is good for something. I can whine to my mistress Succubus.
as you're venting to your new friend here, until the hearing replies back to you. I don't know, Selwyn. It sounds to me like you should have just been forthright in the first place, and you could have been in an hour ago.
I shut my mind down. It's bullshit.
One of the most pertinent arts of deception, my love, is knowing when to apply it. I don't see there's much really to be gained from lying to the clerk.
I wanted to get in faster, but you're right. I should ask first when the first available option was available. But here we are. I feel stupid. I'm angry. I'm venting about the world.
I don't know how. What's your word for the counterpart? The sort of demons that the Chelish consult with. You have a word for them too, don't you?
Devils.
Devils. I don't know how they do it. This is largely, as I understand, their entire lives, isn't it? Just waiting and schedules and appointments and contracts.
Yeah, it's shit, isn't it?
It's awful. I can't imagine as such. The Abyss is much nicer than that, I promise you.
All right,
Maybe
you
you
have
can
to show me
visit
sometime. Oh,
Ah,
of
see?
one mind.
rubbing off on each other already.
Mm.
And so, another hour and a half passes as you just sit and wait patiently,
Oh, there's nothing patient about this.
Oh, the DMV sucks.
impatiently.
I'm
Before
so glad that the MD
finally,
is here.
at this point, it's almost 5 p.m. Like, it's getting to dinner time. Zerg's gone outside to piss in a bush. Another figure arrives from the back. This one kitted up in a little more extravagant armor than the rest of the guards, with his pauldrons gilded, and the badge he wears adorned with a golden filigree around its edge as well. And he's got a light green tabard with a symbol of an open white eye and a pair of wings branching up from it on the front of him, atop it. And he's got fairly short, cropped, light brown hair. Much similar to, seems to be the standard guard haircut, largely. He steps out and looks across the group of you. I take it you're the circus folk, then? Senior
Yes.
Constable Matthew Holden. Chief will see you now.
I'll walk in with him.
And he stands aside and just motions for the group of you to head to the door. As you step forward. Back down that hallway there, last door on the right.
All right, I'll walk down the hallway. Last on the right.
Smile on his face as everyone filters through. As we finally finished our waiting. Let's take a break and wait for a couple more minutes. You guys didn't think Chapter 2 was going to be starting off with DMV Simulator, did you? Who had
That's the
that one
best
on their
part of this
bingo
chapter.
card?
Certainly not me. Let me just down my drink real quick.
Mono's got the right mind. I, too, need to take a quick piss. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Everybody feel free to refill your drinks, grab some snacks, but hurry back. When we return, finally, something is coming of this. We're doing it. We got to our DMV appointment. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing how much a campaign, from literally one episode to the next, can go for a mortal struggle with the leader of the Trogs atop the ancient Aeon Tower to
To a
bring
mortal
life back
struggle
to
with the DMV.
Was a mortal struggle to fight with the Trogs?
Oh, we'll be right back, everybody. Stay tuned. I love that Pathfinder. Alrighty. Welcome back, everybody. The final antagonist of the party here. Surprisingly. The DMV. Not Trogs. Not corrupted druids or demons. Bureaucracy. The most powerful antagonist of them all. But finally, relief had come. As we had left, after waiting for 3.5 hours, a senior constable had finally come by to collect you, had let you out of the waiting room, and brought you down a back hall and through a far right door deeper into the building. You must be along the back side of the building now. And as you enter the door, you see another hallway with one end lined with chairs. Go ahead and take a seat here. Shouldn't be too long. I'll let you know when the mistress is ready. It is a second waiting room. So, as everyone takes a seat, the senior constable here knocks on a door a little further down the hall briefly before opening it, peeking his head in, and then heading inside, leaving you once again alone and waiting.
agree with Selwyn here. This is getting kind of what's the word? Selwyn, what's the word I'm thinking of?
Ridiculous, stupid, dumb, moronic,
Oh, tedious.
tedious.
That's the perfect
Oh,
word.
Not strong enough.
It can't
I
possibly
happen
be
to
a
have
better word than
a
tedious.
pine cone here. I have a pine cone here, Ara, if you would like to play catch.
The two plants are gonna play catch.
Creepiest thing ever.
I'm okay. I'm alright. I'm
So,
fine.
Zerg, you have finally been let in here. This fine man has let you into the back, down, adjoining hallway, into a second waiting room.
We're muted, by the way.
You're not, I fixed it.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I do also see the chat. But thank you.
Maybe you weren't paying attention.
Well, I clearly wasn't because I didn't unmute you in the first place, but I got it by now when I started saying it. Anyway, after maybe 5-6 minutes, the man emerges once more and stands in front of the door with his hands folded. And turns and gives Grippy a big smile. I don't believe I properly introduced myself. Senior Constable Matthew Holden. Are you, so you're not with the Celestial Menagerie then?
No.
Giving old Dustlike some competition, I hear.
Yeah, that was the plan. Yeah. We'll make our way in. Give some.
Oh,
Give
not
that
quite yet,
old
not
good
quite.
old free market shakeup.
She's finishing up with her a meeting right now. And the chief constable's actually out today. She's been a bit busy. You're going to be meeting with her lieutenant, Miss Saria Madrad. Lieutenant Madrad's a nice enough lady. You'll like her.
All right.
So what brings you
Is
to Escadar?
Performance.
Oh, yeah, but you're, I imagine this, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not looking to step on any toes or anything. I'm a constable, not a businessman. Didn't get no fancy schooling or anything. But there's already a circus in Escadar. Feels like it'd be more lucrative to head somewhere without. Did you come here by boat? You sailing over from Absalom or
No, we came by wagon.
by wagon?
Yes. We came from one of the smaller suburbs, might be overstating it. Smaller towns.
I'm kind of surprised. Again, no harm here, but a little surprised
No,
that
they
they
suck.
could rabble together a circus worth of performers. That's impressive. The humble beginnings and all that.
Right, we're actually offshoots of the original, Dustlice Menagerie. We're here to, give a pretty little conversation, give a little upstage.
I actually thought, now that I'm thinking about it, I recognize that one, and he points out to Ara. It's hard to miss, Izzy. Don't remember the second one though, but I've been to a couple
he's
of
new.
shows. I don't get too much time off, but I've been to the Menagerie a fair few times. Maybe 3 or 4 total, really.
Oh, did you see anyone break their necks while you were there?
Suffice to say, I haven't, because most of the time I'm heading out there, I'm trying to bring a lass. The best
Ooh.
dating place there is really in Escadar. Take her to a circus show, get some beers, some pretzels,
That's-
warm them up. It's a good night.
It's honestly kind of sad, but, whatever works.
Aye. It's Escadar. We work with what we got.
Well,
We're
yeah,
going to take her
that's
to a
exactly what-
gambling den. So I'm usually heading into those, kicking in the doors and cracking down.
I'm sure they love you.
Oh, it's not a wholly thankless job. I mean, keeping the beast is good for the majority, right?
Of course.
And besides, not too many permanent residents here that are up to much of that anyway. It's all come and go. So you are rather from Escadar originally. You
Somewhat, yeah. I mean, it depends. Like, a circus full are really from anywhere.
I feel like, and he's kind of looking at Zerg. I feel like I recognize you too vaguely. You had
I have one of those faces.
yeah, you had you got one of those faces, and you got that haircut. As he just kind of motions a mohawk over his head. Really recognizable. It's a good statement. You had a strongman act a couple years back, I
Yes.
think. You did something with like an alligator man,
Lizard man, yes.
a lizard man, right? So you took your shows out on the road then. Well, what's bringing you back
Yes.
around? Are you You're still part of the menagerie if you separate out entirely.
No, we're stepping out entirely.
And you're all just still in this hallway. So he's just kind of standing outside the door, just small talking. Just
Well, I'm having a
passing
small
time.
talk. It's better than just waiting.
Someone, I like him. He's nice.
And as you're sitting here for another probably 10, 15 minutes, just kind of chatting with Senior Constable Holden here, the door behind him cracks open and he gets attention. He's like, "Oi! All right, looks like it's good to go.
All right.
It's a bit of a small office for the four of it, but we'll make do. Come on
All
in."
right.
And he steps back and
Come on in.
gestures towards the door. And the group of you, finally, making your way into an actual office,
I can scarcely believe it.
It's a third waiting room. It's a trap.
It's true.
are let into a circular chamber, paneled with a very rich dark brown wood. It looks a bit different from the hallways you've been let through so far. With a writing desk near the far side of it, curved opposite the wall behind it, making almost a little circular area. And shelves around the outsides of the room stacked with records. Near the door, as you come through, is another row of chairs. But this time you can see there are already a couple of other people in here, and this seems to be the meeting that you're coming for. On the western side of the chamber on your left, a framed painting of a kestrel in flight hangs overlooking the desk. And on the opposite side, a metal stand displays a very ornate falchion in front of a battle-worn breastplate that's been rent, dented, and beaten through in several places, but both have been polished to a brilliant shrine. Sitting behind the circular desk with her own stack of papers is a small but very muscular human woman with a tuft of silver hair, dressed in a similar dark blue uniform with some a simple light silver breastplate over the top of it, and a golden badge of office pinned to the left pauldron, where all the guards have their badges. That her badge has an engraving of an osprey clutching a fish in its talons. And as she's sitting, she is listening intently to another man, the one you'd seen come through before, with the pink vest and the curled mustache, who's leaned forward, smile on his face now, elbow on the desk, telling her something. But as the group of you come in, you, of course, capture her attention. And her gaze turns from him to each of the four of you in turn as you open the door, and she holds up a brief hand to the man sitting at the table. "Thank you, Delamar, for bringing this issue to my attention. That's all, though. It appears I have another appointment. Welcome, Lieutenant Syria Madrad. I hear you need to speak with me about licensing.
Yes, Circuit of White Wonders. Here at your service. I am Sloan.
Please feel free to bring some of the chairs over closer. I apologize for the small confines. Not much accustomed to parties this large."
Of course, there's no issue.
Small people.
We are mostly pretty small.
Not you are. And as the group of you grab some chairs and kind of sit around sort of near this man here, she motions to the pink-vested gentleman. "This here's Delamar Gyanvan. He is a representative on behalf of the Circa Celestial Menagerie, pardon me. I understand you're not with them. You are looking to host a different circus here."
Yes, as part of the free market that you obviously uphold.
Of course. And as you all come in, Senior Constable Holden closes the door behind you and comes around the outside of the room and folds his hands behind his back, taking a position largely at attention behind the lieutenant. Still kind of a smile on his face, just watching over the meeting here. And Lieutenant Madrad continues. "I've been presented with a few concerns about your circus, some of your previous activities and your backgrounds here. But of course, as you say, it's free market after all, and I'm more than willing to let you all make your case. So, what exactly are you requesting here?"
We're requesting to enter the city with our caravans, and we're
I'm requesting to bring the crime-riddled, flea-bitten dogs into our streets. We have enough problems, Lieutenant. And,
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I thought we were meant to present our case, not to be interrupted.
She holds up a hand here. It's like, yes, indeed, Sir Gyanvin, you've made your case quite clear. Let us do this like rational folk here. Perhaps we can simply take this in turns and discuss this as adults. You make your case, and Sir Gyanvin, if you have your own concerns, free to voice them, but at least let the lady here make her points.
Well,
So for this, real quick, this is a bit of an interesting little encounter here. I'm actually going to ask everybody to roll initiative, but I need you to make your initiative roll with diplomacy or deception instead of perception.
all right.
Diplomacy or what?
Or deception.
Well, we're not there though. So
You're not.
yeah. Oh, I didn't think Zerg was either. Okay.
And I'll just have her chill at 0. There's no reason you can't see the names. You know who these people are by now.
Would I know Delamar?
You would not know. None of you would be familiar with him. He's not anyone that you recognized from any of your time before. So I can give you all your tokens so that you may add yourselves to the table.
Sure, roll again.
I can just add you on manually.
I hadn't had it either.
You all did it.
We all jumped the gun.
All you on. That's fine. I was trying to get a bunch of tokens on there. I'll add you all on manually, and then you should be able to just enter your initiative yourselves.
All right.
And she's actually Lieutenant Constable. I was thinking Chief. There's so many different ranks here. There we go.
What a long ass title.
I know, Lieutenant Constable Surya Midrad. It's quite a name. And Delamar. Now, as a Lieutenant Constable finishes, Delamar sits back a bit, folds his hands, and gestures towards Selwyn and in turn vaguely towards the group of you. Very well, of course. I will let them have their say. Simply want you to understand the severity of the situation given. Their work in Aberton has been frightful, and as a matter of fact, outright deadly. That's what I've heard. They're responsible for near dozens of deaths where they've come from. They're simply not up to standard, and not something we can really bear to hold within our city. We can't bear the legal responsibilities of leasing a permit to these charlatans. And he... make a diplomacy check. And Lieutenant Constable nods. Yes, I understand, Sir Gyanvin. Thank you for your concerns. Now, I do admit, Sir Gyanvin has come to me with some worrisome tales, and I do have my concerns, but as I said, you're more than free to present your case. And she motions to Selwyn.
Of course. Now, I assume that his concerns, his accusations, baseless as they are, cannot be verified by any sources within the town of Aberton, small as it is. However, ours, there is one detail in which he's correct, that we did kill dozens of things within Aberton. We saved the Miller family from certain death. We saved the whole Hermitage from certain death. We saved the Aben Tower from certain death. This can all be confirmed by the leader of the Hermitage, Reginald. If you were to send.
So with your opening point here, you're just basically trying to assert that, well, to negate what he's saying largely, that you, but not so much to discredit him as to support that you are a safe bet. While you're speaking here, give me. This sounds pretty diplomacy to me.
Right.
Give me a diplomacy check.
34. Hot 20.
Ooh, hot 20. And with a bit of a nod, Lieutenant Constable sent me to follow along as you explain. She holds up a hand there to stop you there. And that's a lot. That's a lot to take at once. You certainly have had a lot of exploits, and everyone's got a storied past. I'm not sure so much that I'm looking for a full life's regaling here. Simply
Oh, no, this is
justification
only 1
understanding
week.
for your various permits. Hence, you've come with a group, I suppose, to present your case, so it seems only fair that I assume you all have something to contribute here. Barkbeard.
Uh-oh.
Well, I heard in passing that he had mentioned that we might be disease-ridden or have ticks, and I'll have you know that both me and this druid here, she is Stormborn, and we are very adept at medicine and nature, and we keep our animals tip-top. I'm not sure if you could say the same about the menagerie.
So are you trying is your main goal here to talk up yourself or to talk down
Is to talk
the menagerie?
Is to talk up our ability to do nature medicine kind of things.
All right. So
To
give
be
me,
like I'm talking up our cleanliness.
go
Cleanliness
ahead.
from the tree.
I am a clean tree. Go ahead and give me a diplomacy check as well.
Eco-friendly tree here. 25.
And she nods again. Of course, we don't have any particularly strict regulations or standards necessarily. You'll need to be standing to. Again, it's just a simple matter of procedure. Now, your friend here, the two of you, I don't know quite what to make of you. Performers that have come along? Ara.
I don't really understand what's happening here. I'm assuming he's saying that the circus is a bad place, but it's a good place. They don't keep me in a box there. The menagerie kept me in a box all the time.
So, as you reveal a little bit about, well, how bad your life was, and how poorly you were treated by the menagerie, give me a society check.
Oh boy. I'm trained in society. The 17.
A 17. Lieutenant Madrad narrows her eyes a bit, playing with her fingers, almost kind of a little restlessly. Certainly an interesting accusation. And who are you then? And motions to Zerg.
Zerg Betsky, a strongman, yes. Life of the party.
Well, Sabatsky, I assume that you've been sent with this full-size delegation here for a reason. Anything you wish to add?
Yes, I never hurt anybody that didn't deserve it.
As fair as justice
And,
can be, I suppose.
We do a lot of good things. We try very hard. Put in a lot of effort for people who seem to like us enough. It's being amazing is kind of thankless work, you know. I'm sorry, I lost a very good friend recently, and I'm not feeling so good about it. So this is the price you pay for helping people, I suppose.
He looks a little confused by what you're putting forth here. Unsure really how to take it. Talking much more largely generally about the circus and what's happened with you. Why don't you give me a circus lore?
21.
It's only one. She'd nod. Well, Mr. Basky, I certainly offer my condolences for your loss. But
Thank you.
what I understand here, you simply operate a traveling circus, and you're looking to purchase a permit for a place to set up shop in or near Escadar to ply your trade, which is more than fair. My only concerns, well, twofold, of course, and the second largely more clerical. But Delamar here, if I may be so candid, and he nods, of course, Lieutenant. Delamar here has brought forth some concerns that I suppose it seems fair he addressed them to you directly. Delamar? And she gestures to him. And he takes a moment, bridges fingers, and heave a deep breath. Mr. Batsky here certainly speaks some amount of truth. Sometimes, as much as our shows, of course, are put forth to impress, astound, and amaze, it can be a surprisingly thankless and friendless experience. And I see these fellow performers sat here as compatriots. They've lived against the same struggles as me, and trust me, Lieutenant, it does my heart no good to have to come here, but I feel for the good of our city, I simply must. I simply must. To my understanding, some of the animals that they brought with them and their recent reveals in the town of Aberton were let loose into the town. Wild boars near feral outside of control who gored several citizens to death. And one of their shows contained something to do with a swarm of wasps. How you hope to control insects like that, I can't even begin to understand. But they took over the town's mill, shut down production, and ran their poor family near out of house and home. It's just been madness. Now, I know you've been busy, of course, and the chief doubly so, and you've got enough on your plate, Lieutenant. This is just simply isn't worth the risk. He's gonna make a deception check. She is going to critically succeed. And as he does, as the lieutenant listens to this, you're going to see her face kind of darken. And she turns back to Selwyn. So, you see my concerns, ma'am. The gentleman tells me that your storied history is not all the sunshines and rainbows you'd like to present. And
Right, of course.
seems you
and
bring
this
a
is-
fair share of fairly severe problems.
And this is presented to you by a man who has no bias, no stake in this, and no reason to lie. Clearly, we've not had any wasps. We've never had whole boars. Our record show, we've only had the one bear. Always kept in the cage or the wagon. We have the elephant. We have Harbis's twin wolves. While Delamar seems to be
Sir Kianvin,
spinning
please.
tales. Sorry?
Sir Kianvin, please.
Sir Kianwin of the Pink Gambison. Sure, why not? Sir Kianwin seems to be spinning a golden thread out of a, well, feces-covered grain. It's clear to me that his words hold as little value as his morals. None. We did fight with boars. We did contend with them. We did help the mill. And you can show those records. But I see it as rather odd that I have to defend my case from someone who clearly has stake, who clearly has no interest in telling the truth.
Give me a
I'm
diplomacy.
trying to intimidate.
If you want to direct your intimidate at him, you certainly can.
It wouldn't help my case, I assume.
Well, it wouldn't help him because as it's clear as you're sitting here, you're obviously trying to convince the lieutenant constable here to give you this permit, and he is working directly against you, fairly successfully so far. If nothing else, he is a fairly good salesman and a great presenter. You can absolutely direct this attack towards him to try to reduce his impact on this negotiation.
Right. Well, I am attacking his morals and his standing. So that's what I'll do. For a 26.
With a 26, he does feel. You do see him shift a bit. He doesn't so much look uncomfortable. He keeps himself very composed. He tries to just kind of shake his head and brush it off. But his hands clench a little tighter in his lap. Below the desk, where the lieutenant constable can't really see. His teeth grit just a little bit more. Till it's putting him a bit on edge. Barkbeard.
Well, if it's difficult for you to trust us, we are in fact a traveling circus, and maybe we could leave something with you of importance, and if things go wrong, then we have no way of getting it back. If things go well, then we will be on our way and we can pick it up and leave. It might work well for both of us.
A matter of collateral is far the concern, because regardless of what you're willing to invest, if I take an undue risk onto the city, that falls on my shoulders, especially if it leads to any injuries or worse. Besides, the matters of payment and taxation, we can handle, of course, if I decide to issue the permit.
I'm just trying to gain a matter of trust. Something that is important to us would be something that may not be important to you, but maybe your safety of your citizens is just that important.
I'm sorry, I don't quite follow.
Sorry, say that again. I couldn't hear your voice.
I don't quite follow.
It's all right. It's all right. What would make it so that you would trust us? Talking to a man that's been here that we say he's lying and you may believe, how could we prove our worth here?
Well, at the moment, it seems that Willie, I'm...
Your voice is still very low.
We can't
no
hear
worry.
you
Yeah, that's
There we go.
Zoom.
Yeah, there we go.
Zoom's doing Zoom
yeah,
stuff.
there we go.
Well, at the moment, I'm admittedly not entirely sure. I'm really just kind of giving a personal gauge, giving two conflicting stories here. But, Barkbeard, you are presenting yourself as relatively forthcoming. Why don't you give me a diplomacy?
Okie dokie.
As you are attempting to be as just straight
Reasonable.
and true as possible.
I may session reroll that. 1 second. 16. Not very good.
With a 16, as you finish, and she responds, she looks kind of between you and Ara. Now, there are a group of you here, whereas Delamar is sort of standing alone. You could also, instead of attempting to make a case directly, especially if you're not particularly great at that, you can simply attempt to work with each other, build an argument up. In addition to directing your pleas either towards the Lieutenant Constable or towards Delamar, you can give them to each other, much akin to aiding. But Ara. Are you
You're
muted or
muted.
thinking real hard?
Definitely muted.
Both. He said we hurt the millers with wasps and a boar, and that's not what I remember. We went in and we got rid of the wasps and we took their honey. And there was a boar that was a wild boar that was being controlled by an evil druid. Not our druid, but an evil druid. She was short, like this tall, and I hold my hand above me. There's a lot of bad stuff going on in that town. We helped.
All right, give me a diplomacy check as you continue. Just
The
largely
prattle.
trying to refute this, impressed that you are good.
My heart is broken that he would lie about us.
I know, right? Fucking asshole.
What an asshole.
I'm gonna session reroll.
Ooh, that one. Good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a 13.
Did you just change your die color between two rolls?
Yeah.
Did you got that down to a science? That was like an instant, like, bam, new color. With 13,
Yeah.
the lieutenant nods and turns back to Zerg. She turns back to Zerg.
Yes.
Well, you've all come as a delegation together here, I assume for a reason.
Look. If there's one thing that you have maybe not considered is bringing circus to town is very good for economy. Is this word? Money,
Yeah.
good.
Economy, you basically got it.
She nods.
We bring people from all over the countryside to bring money and things into your town. We also spend money. We got to stay alive. We buy things here. We get supplies. We bring in lots and lots of tourism. It's very, very good. Also, this bullshit about boars and bees, I do not like this. This is not true. I want to fight you. I not do this though because I'm a nice guy. Okay, look this face. Nice guy, but lies no good.
All right. Go ahead. Yeah, you got diplomacy?
I mean, I could click it. I could use it.
You can click it. Let's click it. See what happens.
Yeah, you sure that's the one? Maybe I can't intimidate him a little bit. Maybe.
I mean, if you want to try to intimidate Delamar as well, you can certainly pile on.
No, we'll diplomate. It's good for economy. Yes, you bring
Because
lots
I
of
know your
money
main
here.
point seemed to be is good for
Yeah.
economy. Yes.
10.
Well, that doesn't critically fail. So, she furrows her brow a bit, raises her hand a little dismissively. Please, Sabatsky. Well, Delamar, I'm hearing opposing stories here. And Delamar nods and says, yes, I was afraid this might very well be the case, as these duplicitous charlatans have come as in bad faith as we'd feared. You hear their stories, they can't possibly ring a grain of truth. They tamed the wasps and reaped their honey. I don't keep any apiaries, but wasps don't
Slay,
produce
but
any
go
honey.
on.
They can't even put together they have not the barest knowledge to put together a believable story, even with the proper understanding of the difference between a bee and a wasp. And you expect them to have any capacity to bring economy, to bring tourism from inland? From what inland? From what towns even are there inland? And besides, there's already a great and very well-appointed circus here. You already have the Celestial Menagerie. It's well-known and it's profitable. And it's profitable to you and to the city and its taxes, is it not? And he is going to make his own diplomacy check. But he's a little rattled from Selwyn here. And he is going to, he's going to fail. Thanks to her influence. Now, the Lieutenant Constable is going to kind of put her hands together and rest her chin on them. Look, I'll admit, I'm not entirely sure what way to fall on this. On the one hand, I see no particular reason to take the risk of allowing a second circus to set up shop in town, especially one that's such a relative unknown when we have a circus. And I can't imagine Escadar has that much to dedicate to supporting a second circus show in the town. That said, I've got no particular legal standing or reason for which to refute you, and I am not going to hold it against you not knowing the biological differences between different types of bees and wasps. That's hardly seems an argument. Look, and she gestures down to Selwyn. I'm sorry, I don't believe I got your name.
It is Selwyn of the Circus of Wayward Wanderers. I am the ringmaster there.
Ah, so the leader here. Selwyn, why should I take this risk? Not just for myself, but for the city of Escadar.
Well, one, because you have no legal grounds to refute us. Second, because the concerns being brought to you is done by a direct competition, which could, in some cases, be equal to oligarchy. Third, well, it's good for competition within within the city. If we fail because of our own merits. I do believe we exist on meritocracy. And finally, fourth, because you'll get a free seat. Oh, no. scratch that last part. That's obviously bribery. A joke. Bit of poor taste, if you will, but one I made nonetheless. Sorry. Try to lighten the mood.
Delamar, I hesitate to imagine how amusing your show will be. And she just puts up her hand. Delamar, please.
Probably not nearly as funny as your pink canvassing.
Selwyn, please. I don't want this to descend into a schoolyard argument. Alright, make me a diplomacy check.
That's fair. I will spend a hero point to reroll it.
Can't have a circus
For
to continue.
31.
Ooh, that's a critically succeed. As you do seem to sway her pretty well. She seems at the moment like she's leaning pretty decently to the side of your circus right now, but she's not quite fully convinced. Barkbeard. Do you guys expect this to be the
Well-
opening of chapter 2, by the way? 6 hours of DMV waiting room and then
Oh
arguing with
yeah, this is
with
thrilling.
this
I've
guy
always
to get a
loved
permit
the
to set up your
thrilling-
circuit.
I'm just thinking Majora's
Yes.
Mask.
It's super thrilling for sure. Well, I'd say we are good people and we work hard for what we do, and we would like to do our jobs. That's all I can really say.
That's a fairly simple plea. Give me a diplomacy check.
Let's see here. 22.
And with that success, Ara or Zerg, if one of the two of you can just tip her over this last edge here. One of you two's got to bring in the clincher before Delamar takes us off the rails. Ara?
Ara's done talking. He's just kind of staring at Delamar now. Just creepily staring at him.
You want to give me
Like,
an intimidation check?
Yep.
You're just...
23.
And he's trying very hard not to look at you as this soulless little wooden doll is just staring, motionless, into Delamar's eyes. And he's just kind of glancing your direction occasionally, clearly pretty well unsettled. He may not be able to bring this in for the finish, but you are at least going to stop him from taking it away from you, hopefully. Zarg?
Staring directly into his eyes. Whenever he glances past Ara, he can't help but see Zerg also mad dogging him. Yes. Maybe circus in town is not always a great idea because sometimes things can go wrong. Things get bad and people get hurt sometimes.
Oh,
And we do not want this. Maybe we find somewhere else if we have to. But we don't want to.
Make me your intimidate.
Whose side are you on?
I'm trying to scare him into leaving, so they fuck off.
a murder's
Wait,
about to be committed.
Zerg's about to pick up a staple and hit Belamar with it. Ow! God damn it. I hit my table.
Idiot.
Was Belamar. You can see some beads of sweat starting to form up at his hairline. And the lieutenant constable looks at as Barkbeard finishes talking and looks over to Zerg. Yes. Well, regardless. All right. Here's how we'll leave this. So let's call it, I'm no judge, but we'll put it as closing arguments, perhaps. Delamar, case against. And he pulls an embroidered silk handkerchief, also bright pink, out of an internal pocket, and lightly dabs his forehead of it before he tucks it back into his vest. Yes, well, you see, City of
What in
Ascot
the
already has a circus bringing you plenty of gold. There's simply no room in the market. And besides, not only would our good populace suffer handily should the worst happen, should these stories we've heard to be true, there's nothing to gain from taking the risk. And as the one who stamped the paper, Lieutenant Madrad, I dare say, how many eyes will be turned to you as the one who allowed this? And he is very well shaken. To make a roll, to which he is going to critically fail.
Oh,
And
Well
the
done, boys.
lieutenant with
We
a bit
got
of a
him.
scowl. Thinly veiled threats it is then. Right, I think I've heard enough. Sir Ganvin, if you'll take your leave. And she opens up a drawer. I need to discuss the details of this permit with the Circus of Wayward Wonders. And he stands up, writes his vest. Right then. Well, I don't want to hear any protest. I've done the best I can for Osterly to warn you in advance. Pleasant evening to you, Lieutenant Madrad, and just turns and walks out the door.
I would like to
Without
give
any-
him my meanest glare before he walks
I was about to
out.
say, I don't break eye contact with him the entire time.
I would like to see if I can spook him a bit before he leaves.
The group of you all just stare him down.
No, let me use my mean glare feet. Come on, man.
Okay, give me your intimidate check.
Hell yeah, 32. He's spooked.
He hurries out the door, taking absolutely no delays. As he leaves, almost a bit of a scoff. The lieutenant wrestles through.
I
Matthew,
do
if you would fetch
apologize.
the scribe, I need Form 22C, please. I need to permit some land and holdings here for the Circus of Wayward Wonders. And he nods with a smile on his face. Of course, Lieutenant. And heads out the door. All right. What a truly unpleasant man. And I
Right?
know, impolite and breach of etiquette and all that, but he insisted upon being present. And truth be told, I know nothing about your circus save for what he's told me, and you understand my need for concern. But
Of course, if I had been told such heinous lies, I would also be concerned.
then it strikes me truly as just that, a feeble attempt, perhaps, to strong-arm a competitor out of the market.
Right.
Right
I
there.
would recommend you that you at least send word through Bird to Abbottson just to confirm our stories. For
Well,
we have nothing to hide.
can't say I'm familiar, but I can have the scribes look up as a town that's here on the Isle of Arran, then.
Yes.
Well, we can send a messenger if need be. But if we run into problems, perhaps we run into problems. Consider this a show of good faith for now.
Thank you very much.
Constable Holden there is fetching the permits, and we'll discuss how this all is going to go. So, I'm going to give you some land. Now, unfortunately, we're not terribly prepared for this, and I hear... How many wagons do you have?
12.
You have probably closer to 24, really.
Oh, we had 2 dozen? Sorry, I thought
You
we
have
actually had 12
several dozen,
wagons.
actually.
Many.
And that's about what I'd heard. You're looking to put on a show with a big top. You're going to need I imagine at least a fair few acres to maybe 2 or 3 to set this tent up on alone. So extending further to any grounds to host. I don't know much of the workings of circus, but there's certainly more going on than the central tent. And to be quite frank with you, we just don't have any available space within the city of Escadar right now. The best I can give you is a plot outside. It's not far. It's out to the west of the city. It's near a river, so you should have plentiful water supply. But I will admit it's not been used in some time. It is unfortunately all that we have. You may need to put in some work to trim back the weeds and hedges as it is. It's quite overgrown. But I imagine that'll pale in comparison to the work of setting up a circus from scratch, aye?
Yes. But if it's the best you can offer, then it's your best you can offer. Nothing more
It's
can
the only
be said or
I can
done.
offer, in fact. So,
Well, in
but
that
again,
case, then
as
yeah,
much as I really
definition.
do apologize, it's largely a take it or leave it.
Right.
Now,
We'll take
that said, these permits I'm going to set you up with when Matthew returns are a proper permit to perform. I will have you under as a classy traveling merchant, much akin to those who be setting up a stall or anything in town. But as you have no proper wares to sell, you are a performance. Have this marked down as a service. But of course, we are going to need you to actually perform. So the basics
Of
I'll give
course.
you on are the standard here. We will be taking 5% of your earnings as a tax for the city, and you have 14 days to put on your first show.
Okay.
Sound agreeable?
Yes, absolutely.
And that gives you, I imagine you'll certainly need some time to advertise and all that, but that's our standard arrangement. Hopefully that should give you some time to clear out the land as you will, set up and advertise as you see fit. Of course, along with this permit, you will have full rights to, if you wish to shill your lot with flyers or any sort of advertisements in the town, that's more than welcome. You can hawk in the markets. And the door opens back up, and Holden comes in and holds up a small little pamphlet. It's like, oh, thank you very much. And he stands up, bows briefly, and hands it to her. And she starts filling out some details. And she takes from you, over the next 10, 20 minutes or so, fill out the details of your circus, the number of heads you regularly employ, number of wagons, space you'll be using, dotting the I's and crossing the T's with the dates and proper titles. But before the sun has set, finally, with what has ended up taking the entirety of the afternoon and near into the evening, you have your permits to take your wagons around the outside of the town to the western side to this land. You have directions, and you have a proper map plotting out the area that is available to you.
Right.
And as part of that, again, whenever you perform a show in Escadar, 5% of your earnings at the end of the show are going to be taxed by the city.
Right.
As well, she mentions if you fail to meet your agreements, that is, if you do not put on a show and generate taxable income within the next 14 days, your permit will be revoked and you will be removed.
Of course.
So with this news, again, exciting start to the chapter. I'm sure nobody was expecting. You have a start now. You have a head. And with that, you have direction. So, Aribus, as you've been waiting, the sun is nearly ready to set. Finally! Finally, you would see your friends return. The professor, as well, would be equally ready to finally see the group of you return. And as you come out, he near the front of the line, simply waiting by some wagons with Tulip, steps up, pushes himself up, and stretches. Oh, by whatever gods, bear witness, you sure took your time.
Don't say it.
I feel like they took ours.
How did you have struggles then? Did you acquire the permits at least?
This whole day has been a struggle, but yes, we did acquire the permit. You will be pleased to know that Dustlight sees enough of a threat to send her little lobbyist there to stop us. And failed spectacularly.
Well, I'll admit, I had borne some hope that at least we'd, get here before she started interfering.
Yeah, no.
But I admit I'm not terribly surprised. It's a little concerning, though, that she seems to already know of our arrival. He just gives the slightest glance to Barkbeard. Just...
I mean, we're a giant
subtle.
circus traveling. It probably wouldn't be hard to find out.
No, that much it certainly wouldn't. Well, are we being let into the city, then?
No.
He puts a hand up to his brow, and Tulip stands up from the side of the wagon. Oh, come on, honey! We've been out here all day long, and we can't even head in yet!
Well, now well, see, here's the thing. No space. Nothing. We did convince them to give us ground slightly outside of town. Look, it was the only thing we could get.
I suppose it's fair. We're a traveling circus, after all. I don't right know what we expected, but admittedly, this is still all new to me. All my experience is working with the menagerie and already having grounds to call our own. Well then, where are we headed? Then do we have time to get the wagons there before nightfall?
Do we?
You would. So you'd be spending the rest of the evening letting all of your companions, your circus folk, know what the business is, bringing all the animals back out where they've just been set largely out to pasture to just kind of graze along the side of the road for an entire day, and wheel all your wagons down the length of the city of Escadar, a few miles to the opposite side, before finally arriving, well, closing in on your general location. Now, as you get to the other side, as you pass by Escadar, all of you would get a very clear view of something that I'm sure everyone was more than happy to just never see again. The Celestial Menagerie, set up on the north end of town, with its main pinstriped big top, standing in almost stark contrast to the nearly dilapidated buildings set around it. It's not right on the edge of the city. You're not passing exactly by it. But it's, well,
A den of sin. That's what it is.
certainly not going to bring up any pleasant memories for anyone to pass. The good news here is, since Roll20 has modules for this, I have all the book art and stuff again, so I can pop up things like this. So that's neat. Also,
I do
don't
have
to
one
prepare the
really
maps.
pleasant memory with the Celestial Menagerie.
Is it
Leaving.
Yep. I
was
got
leaving.
you. I got you. And you make your way to your new arrangements, your new home, for possibly as long as you choose to stay here outside Escadar. It is very close to the city, and it's on the main road that passes through from east to west. The one that you'd come in as you approached goes straight through the city and comes out here. Now, on the western coast of the Isle of Arran, there are another couple minor ports and fishing towns. So this road here, minor as it may be, is probably the most used road in all of the Isle of Arran outside of the city of Escadar itself. But as you come to this, it's about a mile northwest of the city. And it leads into a fairly large valley. In the foot of this valley, nestled between rolling coastal hills, is where you'll set up your campground. And as you approach it, it does not look promising. The plot is just filled with overgrowth and thorny brambles, rolling unmitigated throughout. The mouth of the valley itself is mostly flat and screened off by a line of pretty ancient old growth trees. Now, your plot is in front of the tree line, fortunately, so you're not trying to lumberjack an entire forest or anything. But you're going to need to handle the brambles that are crisscrossing the area out front, as well as several large mossy boulders that seem to have just been resting here since, well, probably the literal dawn of time. As the wagons are all pulled up and set a little ways off the road, maybe 100 yards out from the tree line, there's not much time left in the evening to really begin getting things out or breaking things down. Or even to hope to kind of retake this square yet to clear land. But Sig Jones, your bearded man, one of your sideshow acts, is kind of the unofficial lead of your various roustabouts. Gets out, takes a look, kind of canvasses the area a bit, and comes back to let the group of you know. Looks simple enough. It's gonna be work, don't get me wrong, but shouldn't take me and the lads more than a day or two to get the area cleared, and then we can start setting up the tents and whatnot.
It sounds bloody excellent. I'm glad you're meaning this with optimism. This truly was the best I could do.
No, it's not terrible, truth be told. It's easily accessible from town, and if we were going to be stuck outside the city limits, it was probably about the best we get. Besides, it's a comfortable enough distance from the menagerie, which we're all at least a little thankful for, right?
Right.
And we're not stuck in the city.
And he takes his leave to go start planning out what all he's going to do. As he leaves, you turn and see Cubby kind of seated behind the wagons, looking out over this expanse. I fucking hate Escadar.
He's such a good boy.
He really is.
Why do you keep saying that?
Well, because it's
you
true.
are.
Do you really hate it that much? Do you not like the compliments?
No. No, they're nice enough, I suppose. Hey, can one of you small folk do me a favor?
Of
And
course.
he cocks his head to the side and pulls his back leg up. I got this damn itch up behind my ear, and I just can't quite get my
I'll
leg up
sprint
high
up
enough.
and like start scratching.
And with that, what is everyone's plans for the evening? Is it much of anything, really?
Well, I would want to explore the perimeter with the wolves and see if even if Cubby wanted to come with us, just to get a general layout of the surroundings. Because I like, there's tree line and stuff. That's what I was
Cubby
thinking.
does not. Oh, you want to go down, just kind of check out the tree line, see what's going on. The rest of you guys?
Yeah, I was gonna explore the area too.
Come with.
Yeah, I gotta assume you can probably
Um,
just follow along with Arabis then. Two of
Is
you
it
can go
possible
off.
to take 20 in Pathfinder 2e?
It is not.
Not
Not even possible to take 10 without a feat anymore.
Sorry?
It's not even possible to take 10 without a feat anymore.
Fair enough.
There's the ye olden guaranteed dice with time is pretty much long gone.
Gone, right.
It's kind
Well-
of because it's a different change and like the concept of what a die roll
Yeah,
is.
it's just I'm not. My character's not great at crafting, but I would like to inscribe some runes into the mask over time, like extra carefully.
Yeah, you could certainly make me a roll to see how well it comes out as you start this little project, how your first arc has gone.
Right.
But it is knowing that you're not great at it and taking your
Yeah.
best time. It's not going to be hasty, but it may not necessarily.
Can I
be
use
great.
Lord Demons instead?
Not to inscribe a mask, I wouldn't say.
Well, I'm trying to inscribe it in Abyssal.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. Begrudgingly, but I will.
All right. And I'll even use a hero point because you gave it to me.
Your only hero point.
I thought I had free.
Do you have one left? Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, bring it down to 1 then.
10 to 1.
With a 21, they would be fairly well made. It would be you lack the knowledge nor the materials to really do it the justice you want. But the runes that you're carving are clean. They're very carefully crafted. It looks like good work.
Right. And
So
I'd
you're
like to talk to Tilby as I'm doing it.
Okay. So
I
we're
would like
working
to-
this in your wagon, talking to Tilby.
So where are we going exactly for these trucks? Where'd they come from?
Oh, well, what do you mean, Solon?
Oh, just figuring out specifics. Where do we go from here?
Oh, right. Moonstone Hall. It sounds like you've got your plate full. Now, this connection here is always interesting. It's not always open and it's not always words. I do feel particularly strong emotions coming through them. And Selwyn, you've got some particularly strong emotions. Opinions, at the very least.
Yes. I'm pretty pissed. I want to kill some trucks.
Understandably so. Don't forget, I may have an associate you can meet, but truth be told, I've had difficulty making contact. You still have the lizard man's body?
I don't think we would, honestly,
Oh, well, how are we supposed to raise him without a corpse, Selwyn? Think.
because I wasn't planning to raise them.
Really? Oh, well, you could have told me that. I've put so much work into trying to call in old favors. Well, fine.
I apologize.
The Moonstone Hall, as far as I can understand, is an ancient temple of some kind, though admittedly I don't know a whole lot about it. There's not much information I could really gather, and it seems, well, I suppose. I know this. Hold on, you told me earlier. Devils. Devils certainly have their strong points, and their meticulous nature does them favors when it comes to, well, written knowledge. We don't have much of that.
Right.
Honestly, that's why I prefer to spend much of my time on your plane, really.
Understandable.
So, I can't tell you exactly where it is, and I can't tell you exactly what it is. But I can tell you that Skull was sent by his superiors from within, and if the Trogs are interested in it, then we are also probably interested.
Right.
So,
You got any leads on where to start?
I do not. As a matter of fact, outside of, well, this city.
Guess
That
it's a trip to
said-
the library then.
You're gonna have to do some investigation, some research of yourself, I'm afraid. But, of course, there's no major rush on this. Moonstone Hall's been there for centuries, and it'll be there for centuries afterward. And, well, the Trogs, frankly, are goddamn useless. I can't imagine if there's anything in there of any actual power they'll have, well, any chance of causing it any harm or taking the thing.
If
And if they do, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
If the Taran's Abbin is any indicator, they're pretty idiotic at best.
My time in that tower was not pleasant. Admittedly, neither was yours, but
No.
well,
Can't
come with
say that it
bonding
was.
then. And with that, seems that Tilby has precious little
Yeah.
information for you. So as you're working on that, and Arvis and Ara are off to go check the tree line. Zerg, what are you up to?
Zerg is not
Oh,
currently
Zerg
here.
is peeing in a bush somewhere. Sorry, Barkbeard, how about you?
Is there any way I can help out them setting up camp? I can always, there's some big stones in the way. I can always convince the roots to give them up so that we can flatten out an area or something.
Well, there's not much on. There's not much in the way of work going on tonight, really. Just getting the wagons all settled and ready. And before we go any further, Selwyn, chilling at 1 hero point here. I know she's also not here. She is going to come back to a prize, which is 2 more hero points from Dastronets for the Master of Diplomacy and Juggling Knives and Patience.
Patience for sure.
But the setup's not really going to start tonight, Barkbeard.
Okay, if I can, I mean, I was just thinking that I could do some of that, but I don't have to. I could just sit and do nothing. That also works. I am good at sitting and doing nothing. Quite patient, actually.
So is Ara. It's a plant
So-
thing.
Ara and Arbus, as you're heading out to the south here to this tree line up towards the mouth of the valley, just to kind of look around, skirting around the worst and the densest of these brambles. Oh, he doesn't have his earbuds in yet. Zendern, you got 2 more hero points from Destronets.
Oh, perfect.
Back up
So
to
I'm
3,
free.
lad.
Nice.
The
Thank you,
two of
Destronets.
you,
Arigato.
2 of you come down to a fairly thick tree line. You can see that it has a pair of breaks in it leading further into the valley, but they're simple footpaths, hiking trails perhaps. Very narrow, very plain, and not seeming like they see a lot of use. As a matter of fact, one of the trails is literally just blocked by a massive rotted log that has fallen over and has clearly been left there for some time, which, while it's not impossible to climb over it, well, if anyone really cared about this trail, they probably would have moved it.
Just excitement on my face.
It
I'm
is largely unmolested nature, Arvis.
Yes. Yes.
So, as the 2 of you come and check out this tree line and see and get your excitement before returning back to the camp. This first night here ends having truly been a goddamn effort. but at least ending with success, right? At the very least, ending with permits and purpose. You'll all rest, I imagine, fairly soundly, knowing you've at least finally reached your destination here. And that now, your proper preparations can begin on multiple fronts, as it stands. You gotta clear this area, although admittedly the roustabouts are largely gonna handle that. And you've got to set up your tents, and you gotta get to promotion. You gotta get a show. So, with the night coming, is everyone just crashing for the night? Return to wagon, sleep properly, we're in the right place? Or what?
I'll be working on the mask long into the night. And
You
then
trying to say
I'll...
something, Bren?
Sorry, go on.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, just basically, I can sleep outside as well. Me and actually, 3 of our party are quite adept at sleeping outside.
I don't even have wagons.
Yeah, why?
Well, my
I
wagon's-
gave mine away, I think.
Yeah, you
I
did.
know.
Yours is Tilby, or not Tilby, definitely not Tilby. Yours is Ilva and Zerg's now at this point. You have donated your wagon to a better cause.
And my wagon's just filled with carved little toys.
So with a night's
Little
rest,
junk.
you awaken the following morning, bright and early, ready to begin preparations. And as you get up, preparing whatever various spells and readying whatever armor and weapons you have, whatever your morning rituals may be, by the time you're out and about, much of the roustabouts, led by your bearded man, Sig Jones, already have axes and saws ready and working, trying to clear out the worst of the brambles and whatnot from this land, starting to tame this so they could even begin to set up tents and whatnot, start to root posts properly. And what's everyone's plans?
I'm gonna
I think
start a
it's
burn
town.
pile.
So someone wants to head to town. Ara, what'd you say?
I'm gonna help them clear. I'm gonna start a burn pile.
Gonna start burning this stuff away.
Yeah.
How about Arbus and Barkbeard?
I was gonna do the same thing I was gonna do yesterday. Try and move any big stumps or anything I can do to help.
I would
strong,
want
man,
to
and
come with
Help them do
Selwyn
strongman stuff.
into the
Arbus
city.
wants to go into
Well,
town.
a lot of it's like finagling routes out of your way is
Is it-
tough. The routes are a majority of the problem when clearing land.
That is accurate. How about you, Zerg? This first morning here in your new home. Selwyn and
Yes,
Arbus are heading into town. Barkbeard and Ara are helping the restabouts clear the land.
And I'm still because I was sharing a thing with Ilva now, right?
Yeah,
cab-
you've had a donated wagon from Arbus. So you and Ilva now do share a wagon together.
Spend the morning just unpacking our things and putting things wherever they're supposed to be. It's very nice now. Yes, you like this.
It is nice to finally be here. I
Long travel.
have traveled all my life, but still, the best part is the routes. Not too long, of course. You cannot tarry. There are always new lands to see. But that first couple of fresh days and nights in a new place, in a new home, they are the best. They are the
Yes.
reason for travel.
I agree. I love it. Like a fresh start
seem-
wherever you go, whenever you like.
You seem almost, I don't know. Nervous is not necessarily right word. Busying yourself, Zerg.
No, just want to get set up. You know, it's a new place. I want everything to look nice. I want you to be comfortable. I just clean. It's fine. I'm all right. It's good.
Do not think I do not appreciate your efforts. I just wonder what goes on in your head sometimes.
Food mostly. I'm very hungry. You want breakfast? I go cook. I
Breakfast.
go hunt something.
Breakfast would be good, yes. We should still have plenty of food. There's no need to work yourself. We will have much to do with preparations.
I go get us some breakfast. It'll be very delicious. I put together a platter of delicious meals for you. It's going to be great.
So Zerg heads out to find some food. Selwyn and Arabis travel into Escadar proper. And what is it that you are after, friends?
Well, first of all, I'm after Taylor.
Well, that would not be difficult to find, as there is all sorts of goods and services available here in the marketplace down near the docks. The city is almost totally stratified. There's the docks itself, with all the ships constantly coming and going, and it is an incredibly busy port. Many of the ships here clearly being military in nature, strapped with catapults and ballistae down their lengths, barding in armor, floating vessels of war. But merchant ships coming in and out from Absalom, a dozen a day nearly. And right behind that is a strip of markets, getting thicker near the center of the city, around the central conclave where that civics building is. And heading into town to find yourself a tailor, well, that's no difficulty. There is no shortage of tailors who want to sell you on their business.
Okay.
So what is it that you are after?
Well, is there any tailor with a nice name?
Here,
Putting you a bit
This
on the
is-
spot there.
this is a far cry from Aberton. You're not walking through like businesses with pleasant shops outside. You're looking through like a marketplace. Most of the business is conducted, even through the proprietors that have their own buildings, out of stalls and hawkers out front. There's no names. There's no titles. There's no fancy signage or advertisement. Simply displays of their products, and in many cases, it seems, who can shout the loudest about their wares. And as you walk through the area, you have many of these various hawkers noting you as out-of-towners, constantly harrying you, coming up to you directly, standing in your path, trying to sell you all sorts of useless wares, jewelry, and trinkets. Or equally near useless services. Coins to be had any way they can. If you're looking for a store with a pleasant sign and a happy name, you'll be a little disappointed in Escadar.
Suppose I will be. Well, I'll find the nicest looking tailor shop I can find.
And this is for your
Oh, it's
for rather
twofold.
Thunders, right?
Right, yes. That's part of it.
So what is it you want?
I would like to commission a my same outfit without the frills, but in garnished black, and then as well as resizing Thunder's clothes to mine.
I'm thinking your outfit without the frills. So so just straight black,
Yeah, basically.
because it's like pinstripe, isn't it?
It is.
You want black
but
and slightly darker black?
Right. Yeah.
All right. They could certainly arrange that for you. It's something they could put together, and you would spend the morning having measurements taken just inside the entryway of a shop, where pleasant enough, but very busy, very talkative, and very quick-speaking man would ready to sell you a custom tailored version of your outfit. May the finest silks that he has shipped in from Absalom itself, and from there across the inner seas, from the Osirian merchants and their fine works for
I would tell him that the finest silk is not needed. It just needs to be regular cloth, something that's durable.
Fair enough. For something that's regular cloth and durable, how about 5 silver?
All right, I'll hand him Phil 5 silver.
Upsell failed. He gave it an attempt. And if you leave Thunder's suit with him, he could have both ready for you after he's gotten your measurements the following morning.
So like a gold then.
Tailoring the
For
suit,
both.
yeah, probably about a gold total for tailoring the suit down to gnomish size, which is a fairly big change. It's going to take some work and setting that one up directly. And Arabis, as you're following along here in this just wealth of almost sea of people haggling, merchantry, all sorts going on around you. Your attention being called for everywhere you look and everywhere you don't even. I'm just kind of following along here.
Yeah, Selwyn has told me many times to not wander off because
Yeah.
good. I'm gonna
Good
be
girl.
good. I'm gonna stay, but I'm very curious. I should listen longer than I probably should to most of these guys trying to sell me stuff. But
I think you're the one who's never been to a big city before and doesn't know that the correct answer is to just ignore them and walk away.
Yeah,
Like,
just-
you engage, never
so
engage.
much happening. It's complicated to her.
Yeah.
Almost overwhelming, you could
Yeah.
say.
And I definitely look out of place, barefoot and all haggard, looking, just walking around.
Look, well, not really,
well, maybe
honestly.
not.
Yeah, there is a sizable population of very similarly dressed, shoeless orphans around here, trying to make coin however they can. And many of these offers, as much as the man that comes up to you with necklaces and bangles draped all the way down his arms, trying to sell you anything, there are not just the beggars, but the shoe shiners, the bards to be, everyone trying to get your attention and trying to get a coin any way they can. It's a near overwhelming experience, honestly. I'm sure, for Arbus.
Oh yeah,
But-
definitely.
As the afternoon comes, I assume you two would return home back to the campground here to some progress being made. And to a bit of a discovery.
Right.
What do you make of this? Sig Jones points to the ground where a couple of the roustabouts are gathered around, where they've been clearing some land and where Barkbeard and Ara have already seen. And as he points down, around the edge of the area, near the mouth of the valley, but out a little ways, kind of falling out on the tree line, there are a few sets of tracks. They're not human tracks. Clearly an animal, but a decently large one. And Arbus, probably Ara or Barkbeard, honestly, without even a check, would be able to tell that they're canines. Wolves, probably.
Okay.
So wait, we came home after the tailoring.
Did you not? Did you want to do more things?
Oh, I know. I plan to try to find information in the Moonstone Hall.
Oh, okay, so this is being
It's-
shown to Barkbeard, Ara, and Zerg, then.
Okay.
And Ara would certainly recognize those wolf tracks.
They're wolf tracks. Yes.
Aye, that's what I thought.
Quite.
But, they're fresh, too, aren't they?
I
They
mean,
might have just
doesn't
passed through here.
Arbus have wolves?
I don't think
don't-
these are hers. I don't think they've come out of the cage yet since they're settled. Supposed to not roaming this far.
They went last night, did they not?
Well, we didn't come over to this area with them.
Ah, I see.
I mean, I'm no tracker. I'm not a hunter by any stretch of the imagination, but this looks like they'd come through. That's not, as fast as I can tell. Could have possibly been right under our noses. Wolves, we got plenty of folk here, right? I mean, wolves aren't gonna bother us none, are they?
I
No,
think
they
it
shouldn't, I would
depends.
say.
Well, those are two
Oh.
very different answers, and neither of them very
Well-
reassuring.
Boars shouldn't just settle into an orchard and bother people either, but that happened.
Well, I guess it depends how hungry they are.
Where's Arbus when you need her?
That's
Well, she went
in
to
town.
town to do town things. I don't know. I guess we could feed the wolves, and then they would be
That's
less
not a good
hungry.
idea.
Well, I have not much experience with wolves.
Zerg, what do you think? There's wolves, wild types.
I do not like wolves very much right now.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I have no
What?
way.
Well,
No.
we reckon. What should we do? Should we are we safe enough ignoring it, or
I think we should just keep an eye out for them.
I say we go kill, but this is probably unpopular opinion.
I don't want to make Arbus
I'm very
upset.
much on board with that one. Honestly,
I can go crush. I do this myself if there is any objection.
Well, when you motion us down to the tracks, it looks like it's not one or two. It looks like, well, it looks like a whole damn pack lives here. I mean,
Yes.
I know we don't have any children, but we got close enough. Hell, a ringmaster's half looking like a child. Yeah, wolves carry children off in the night, don't they?
I go take care of pest problem. I'm very good at this. Let's go.
We may want to wait for Orbis, you know. She probably wants to make friends with them, and then we'd have like a whole pack of wolves in the
Arabis already
Circus.
have 2 wolves.
Well,
But imagine if she had more.
where is Arabis?
Okay, Arabis come with talk to wolves. If no good, I crush skulls.
Arbus is in town with Selwyn.
Exactly.
Okay, we wait then. Fine.
She'll
But
be
if
back,
someone
yeah,
dies to
she'll be
wolves
back.
while we wait, he's not on Zerg. He's not on
Oh.
Zerg.
Well,
They've already passed through here, so they can't be. They can't have bothered us when they passed through here, so they must be on their way.
and they
How
come out in the
wolves
night,
look.
don't they? They don't hunt during the day.
Ah, great. So we have plenty of time to deal with them
Right.
and wait for Arbus to come back.
He looks, and Sig looks kind of unsettled. We're not gonna be set upon by wolves while we're trying to clear the prowls, are we?
It's gonna be okay.
Probably not.
I'm,
And he
Yes.
looks pretty visibly shaken. He
I wanna-
obviously is not comfortable with. And you would even
I
know
know
somewhat
quite a
from
bit about hunting.
Arabis and her wolves that he gives them a pretty wide berth. And this is the guy who tends most of the animals and heads that up. It has nothing to do with Arabis's wolf. He does not seem to like wolves. Sig.
he's afraid of wolves. Can I attempt a diplomacy to kind of calm him down a little bit and reassure
Yeah,
him that we're... Yeah.
Absolutely.
I wanna roll a 16.
With a 16, he'd kind of nod. Not really convinced, but this feeling a little better. Right. I mean,
I got an idea. So why don't I just sit here and watch this way, and if I see the wolves come, I'll shout really loud, and then we'll take care of it.
well, and if they show up,
I
I've heard
can
about-
watch the other direction. You know, both of us are very stationary, and we would be able to watch both directions.
Well, and I heard what you and the ringmaster did back in Abberton, so I imagine if the wolves come out, Zerk here simply holds them up and you set them alight.
Pretty much, yeah. That's it.
Right. All right. We should be fine. We'll just and nobody else has stopped working. Everybody else doesn't care at all. They're all just still hacking away. It's like no worries, everyone. We can continue working. We should be clear enough here. And most of the roustabouts just kind of couple turn, look, and just nod or like raise their hand and then just keep doing what they're doing as though them stopped anyway. It's clearly just Sig is a little disturbed here by finding the wolf tracks.
You're a rousing speaker, you know, you should really work on that. You've got some potential. Clearly, everybody is much calmer now.
Yeah, he's really about as good as Selwyn is.
So in town, Selwyn, as you are looking to find some information here, you're directed one of two places. And just asking around a bit while you're in the marketplace, you don't require any roll to kind of get this knowledge. There's two places that may help you. There's a building called the Magistratum, which near the Civic Center in the center of Escadar is its primary courthouse for minor offenses, as well as where all of its legal records are held. Its record chambers has all kind of archived civic documents, permits, blueprints even, and as if Moonstone Hall is a place that exists as a building within the city limits, you should be able to find some documentation about it in there. Alternatively, there is a monastery of St. Sarnax, and it's one of the oldest buildings in all of Escadar. It's a pretty imposing, tall, white marble structure, which isn't near the center of town. It's off further to the east, so it'll be across the city. Its front towering above all the buildings around, with just a white pillar, with nothing set atop it, ending in a simple point. They hold a lot of documentation about religious operations and worships within the city, and are home to a group of monks who may be able to give you better information as far as Moonstone Hall as a temple, if they know anything about it.
All right. Satisfied, I shall head back to the camp.
Oh, okay, fair enough. You have direction now.
Right,
Yeah,
yes,
music
that's really
turned
what I
off
was
and
after.
Okay, fair enough. I had the
I'm not-
music
I'm not
turned off and
gonna-
everything, so I was gonna be like I had the silent library investigation
Yeah.
time ready. But
Yeah.
fair enough. You know, you have a direction, and that's all. you're
Right,
after for the
yeah,
moment.
and I would like to do that with everyone else.
So
Don't go anywhere alone.
you never go anywhere alone. Never split the party. You arrive in the early afternoon back to the camp, where a large amount of the grounds have already been cleared. With what's happening so far, they've probably whacked out about a third of the brambles, leaving just a couple of exposed massive boulders. And you can already see that a few of the large rocks have been hefted and moved aside, just kind of heaped along the tree line off to the right, further out west as you come in.
All right, nice.
Do I see Arbus and so on come back?
Yeah, I imagine you all would, because I'm sure they're going to come out. I mean, it's a
As
pretty
soon as-
open
They're not hiding.
campground. No one's really hidden.
As soon as I see Arbus, I say, Arbus! Wolves!
What has Masako done now?
Oh, Masako's been a good boy. Won't let me pet him still, but good boy. Wild wolves. Sig is very scared of wild wolves. Very scared of wolves.
I have noticed. So
I think Arbus got like joy out of that.
where is your? They're wandering the campsite.
Yeah, they've been in the campsite. There's
Just
tracks.
generally around. They have tracks over here, yes.
Perhaps
All
I
right,
should
let's
track
go wolf
them
hunting.
then.
Oh,
No,
wolf
No, we're
catching.
not.
We wanted to
Something.
pacify them, but we wanted to wait for Arbus to come back first. Or I wanted to wait for Arbus to come back first.
I just make friends with them, and then everything will be fine.
And then that will film.
Because that's worked so well in the past.
I
And the
have
wolves are gonna bite
I
me.
mean,
2
50-50.
giant wolves that are pretty loyal to me, Selwyn. Already.
in my experience of being a tree, that wolves normally only hunt when they're hungry. They're not exactly like killers for spite.
They're smart killers. I know this.
Why don't you
I
give
don't-
me a nature check? Either or both of you.
Mm. Ha! Ha! How
Well,
dare
I
thee!
Oh, well, that wasn't very good.
Oh, I'll play.
Natural 20 for a 31.
Nice.
Can't see this.
Destroyed.
Nice.
So,
I'll just
So,
I
turn
want to tell
into
you
a
to
tree
sit down,
then.
tree, but you can't.
Shemuel, Arbus, you would know that I mean, wolves are an incredibly common creature, and certainly one of the more common threats to smaller towns. Well, throughout really anywhere in Galarian where they live, which is basically the entirety of the Undersea region. They're wolves. They're super common. We're not talking about crazy pixies or anything here.
have
And
a couple of
you
those.
do know that they hunt as a pack, not only for efficiency, for a better chance of success because they're stronger and they're intelligent enough to do that, but also for efficiency because they are not terribly aggressive animals. Wolves, while they sometimes can be relatively territorial, and they can definitely claim a large area that they believe is theirs, which they search for both prey and competition. Their territory is ginormous. Where it can literally take a pack several weeks to patrol around everything it considers its realm. And with the size of your circus, realistically, there's basically no chance wolves would do anything to you. Because they are natively kind of lazy. And they pack hunt things that they think they can take down easily. Unless it's something they see as a threat to their territory, which largely would be other wolves or other predators. They don't go around looking to pick fights. They go around looking for the easiest meat they can find, and like 100 people at a circus ground are definitely not going to be anyone's definition of the easiest meat they can find.
They sound like Zerg.
Colin Stark lazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
He doesn't pick fights and he looks for the easiest meat he can get.
Well, I
I do like meat. This is true.
don't We could probably track them down, but there's a lot of them, and I don't think with the size of our troop, they will give us much trouble. Just when work in pairs, groups, and such, and we should be fine. I don't think it will be anything to worry about.
Right.
Hear that, Sig? Nothing to worry about.
I think the
Alright,
issue
fine.
here is, what if they're forced to attack us? What if the good old menagerie does a bit of sabotage? This wouldn't be the first time.
How would they make wolves attack?
Parrot him with a lion.
Maybe they have a druid too. Everyone seems to have a druid these days.
They just come from a town that has a druidic hermitage nearby, so I don't know if that's a fair assessment. But you've been scarred by druids so far in this campaign, to be sure.
Well, I suppose we could just wait and see, and if something happens, then we will deal with it when it gets here.
Yes, like Hemlock says, the patience, we must abide by it.
We've done a lot of waiting here recently.
Yeah.
It's good to
Wait, why-
practice, you know?
why are you
The more
arguing
you
patience?
wait, yeah,
I
the
just-
more you wait, the better you are at waiting.
Not necessarily the patience, it's their territory. I don't want to infringe upon it, and you don't want to cause any undue hostile actions for no reasons. It's their home.
We're setting up watch.
Selwyn. Okay, we will watch, but we do not kill them.
If they don't
Remember,
become a
this was
problem.
their home first.
Well, that seems like a fair enough decision. It's an easy way to deal with things. Just have a watch, forehead.
They making fun of me, Master Dwarf.
So with that, seemingly having been settled, is there anything else anyone wants with the rest of the afternoon, the rest of the day, or just kind of biding time while everything gets set up?
I'm actually I want to enlist the help now that we've settled down and we're making up camp, of getting a couple of Elseballs to help me cut down a tree and get a nice sizable log to start a project I want to work on.
Okay. That'd be easy enough to do. Plenty of the rest of us, I mean, they have axes and perfectly foul logs for firewood anyway, so there'd be plenty around. No difficulty whatsoever.
I'm gonna start. I want to start. It's gonna take a long time, but we have plenty of time. I want to start carving an actual statue out of the wood
Ooh.
in the visage of Lizard Man.
A grand project, to be sure. So, the group of you spend the rest of the day helping out around the camp, unpacking your various things, and just preparing to, well, preparatory stage of getting ready to put on a show. You still got 2 weeks, so it's no big rush or anything. And then, Selwyn, do you actually want to put up a watch at night?
I would, yeah.
Okay. So, are you all participating, or?
I will participate
Yeah.
if Selwyn's
Yeah.
insists there be a watch.
Okay.
I don't take much sleep anyways.
So, just to be safe,
Oh no.
you guys, just to be safe, you guys set up this watch. Just to make sure that if anything is going to happen, at the very least, you are going to be aware of it. That's better, right? It's better than a wolf. Than the great fear of Sig Jones and a wolf just showing up and dragging somebody away in the night. So you all sleep. I imagine with no one else being particularly enthusiastic about this, Selwyn probably taking
I mean,
the
the
first
wolves
watch.
isn't even the main issue. I'm more looking for sabotage from
That's
those
true.
other
You-
assholes.
You have legitimate concerns about these celestial menagerie doing anything because again, it's not really hidden knowledge that you're here. You're kind of right about outside of town, and well, you made a bit of
They
a show
already
getting
tried
in here in the
to-
first place.
Yeah, already tried sabotaging us.
Yeah, they've already tried sabotaging you basically every opportunity they've ever gotten. So
Yeah, pretty much.
I absolutely cannot blame you. So, you set the watch, and I imagine Selwyn probably just stays up first, waiting.
Yep.
and then you pass around, and it goes in turn. Nobody really seeing much of anything as the night slowly passes. A few of the roustabouts are up at night either because they're particularly enthusiastic or particularly restless, just trying to make sure that they get everything set together as fast as possible. And by the time you're out here just taking your turns watching at night, holding a torch, I'd guess, you would see that nearly half of this lot has been cleared. It is then, later on in the evening, Barkbeard, sometime during your watch here, you hear a growling coming from the tree line. It's more than one. It appears to be at least a couple wolves together. Now, you can't see them yet in the flickering of your torchlight you hold on watch, but they sound fairly menacing. They're at least here to be intimidating. Why don't you, throw me some initiative. No, just for science.
Okey-dokey. Let's see here. 19.
Alrighty. And as you hear this, near immediately, you see a wolf break from the tree line, dashing forward out of the darkness, moving a little skittishly, but aggressively barreling directly towards you. And snarling as it approaches, it charges in, jaws wide, biting towards you for a 29.
And catching me off guard, it does. I do take a hit, but not a crit.
Now it's a fairly standard wolf. It doesn't look like a terribly powerful creature, but you are rather small. It's gonna bite you for 10 damage and pull you down to the ground. Barkbeard.
Okay.
Welcome to the True Toy.
Now, as this
Okay.
wolf comes out, some of the roustabouts around kind of grouped together, a little further back, working on some things, immediately see what's happening. See the wolf come out and jump on, well, they don't really know you, so their first reaction is just to scatter back to the wagons, trying to raise whatever alarm they can, shouting and waving their hands.
And let's see, do I have to be standing to do this?
You don't have to be standing to do most things.
Well, this might be an exception. I probably not. So, I would my arms would kind of sprawl out, and they'd start kind of lengthening, and leaves would come out from all of my fingertips and all along my arms, and 2 actions later, I'd be a tree. Just a nice, lovely tree in the middle of this field here. Totally innocuous. Nothing to worry about. Just a tree standing here. No use fighting a tree.
And
So
it's
I tree-shaped
also,
into a tree.
I believe, a very large tree.
It is, in fact, a very large tree, but it's a tree, and it's standing there very tree-like. And they would have to make a perception check to see whether or not I was a tree.
As the wolf rips you down, and as you hit the ground, you just kind of transform into a tree. The wolf stops for a minute as you expand in its jaws, and it backs up, very confused. And a second wolf comes much more cautiously forward out of the darkness, with really no idea what's happening. And it comes up. It kind of sniffs around your roots. Trying to figure out, well, what is happening. And what is your spell DC for this? Is it your class
So
DC?
if they, it is my class DC. Yeah. It
'Cause he
was
is-
your. Yeah.
He's definitely gonna
So,
investigate you immediately.
Yeah, and on a successful nature or survival check against your spell DC, reveals that you appear to be a tree that is strangely new to the area.
I knew that spell. That was my anti-2 choice spell.
If I get peed on, I mean, I guess that's just the way this goes. But
Alrighty.
let's see here.
Is this about to happen? Is this really about to happen?
What's your spell DC?
21.
Okay. So he sniffs at you. The wolf, unsure what to make of this strange tree. He realizes you are, in fact, just a tree. And still growling, he moves around and past you, darting after the roustabouts as they retreat.
Okay. How far away are they again?
The other wolf is then going to take off, sprinting through this newly cleared land, and tackle down one of your roustabouts, ripping him to the ground and tearing into him.
Okay. How far?
Darkbeard.
So they're all close by?
They
All the
ran about
roustabouts?
35 feet past you. Let's do this
Okey-dokey.
for convenience sake. Let's move
So
you
I would
down
change
here.
out, I guess,
Say you're
change
here.
back it.
Because that's the functional distance you are from where they are now.
Okay, so I would change back into a person, which ends my turn.
All right. And as you see in the flickering firelight in the distance, these wolves harrying and attacking whatever they can. Their snarling and the shouting of the roustabouts, getting the attention, hopefully, of everyone in the circus. Everybody else give me a perception check. We'll just move you down here. We're going to make this a little bit awkward. There's a very heavy sleeper.
I don't think Ara was sleeping.
Dar was already
He
awake.
was waiting.
I was
So,
working.
Zerg is a super duper heavy sleeper, is what we learned today. But the rest of you can certainly hear that something is very wrong. You hear screaming and shouting outside and a snarling of wolves.
How much of a heavy sleep
And,
is Zilba?
I guess I should roll one. I'm gonna give her a random perception modifier of this many. Then we'll see how it goes. Gilva's much less of a heavy sleeper. So she will spend the round waking up Zerg. Zerg! Zerg, wake up! You just kind of smacking you. Something is wrong, Zerg! You heard the howling!
Lizard, you smell.
So, everybody else, Ara, Arbus, and so on, if you want to roll initiative, go ahead.
I absolutely do.
Oh, I didn't click the token. I rolled a 15.
I'll add you on. I have to drag you down slightly first, though, because I can't get to the top of the menu where end turn is when you're at the top of the map. Okay. We should be able to put it in manually there.
Gotcha.
Okay. Let me sort these again. So the first wolf is just going to continue to recklessly attack. And Ara, I'd say it would take you 2 actions to get out of your wagon and get to where you are here on the map if you want to rush in to see what's happening. To get up within view of what's going on here.
Yes. No delay.
And as you get
So,
here, you can see that Most of the roustabouts have managed to get away. A couple of them run past you, one bearing some claw marks down his torso where he's been swiped out with a bit of a bite in his leg, but they've mostly escaped. Who hasn't is Bartholomew, who is currently pinned down underneath this wolf, just getting torn to shreds.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time you get out here, his panicked screaming has largely become wordless, just screams of sheer terror. We have one action left.
Elemental toss. I have a spell just for this situation.
The one
This
action special.
At the one on Bartholomew. I want a session reroll. No, did I do a session reroll already?
I think he did session. I think everyone's done the session reroll.
Hero
Yeah, I
point.
think so.
Hero
Putting
point
it down
then.
to 1.
How's a 25 look?
25 is going to critically succeed. It is a standard wolf.
So it's for 20 fire damage total at the end of it.
And as that smashes into this thing, an almost kind of show of how powerful you've become, with a yelp of pain, the wolf immediately jumps back aflame away from Bartholomew, barely even able to limp away from this at this point. So, Barkbeard, back down to your regular size.
Well, I suppose. The roots kind of roll incredibly fast. You'd seen it earlier, but actually a very fast fellow. And then I'm going to, just as I'm dragging the vines behind me, just heave them overhead and just smash down on this wolf. With a flurry of blows. Oh no, I have to get into stance first.
You have to get into stance first.
That's it. Yeah,
You
so
can
I'll just do
move
a
up.
strike.
You can move up, take your stance, and flurry of blows.
Yeah, Flurry of Blows is a single
Oh,
action.
okay.
It's only one action.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll get into I'll kind of set my stance, and then I'm just going to flurry of blows.
What is
The
your
first
stance?
one
What
is
do you do?
16. I'm going to. I mean, I kind of sink into the earth, and I sink to the earth, and everything kind of plants. All of my roots get like thick and set, and all of the even the everything that I'm hitting with becomes incredibly hard and rigid with like bark. The rivets in the bark is just like it becomes incredibly tough.
And as you know,
And
with
then I
this,
hit him.
this first strike of the flurry, as you slam down this wolf, bursting into flames from this quick toss from Ara, 13 damage is immediately going to pound it broken into the earth here. Your second fist just making sure that Bartholomew is freed, as you
Quite.
realize that he's not really moving a whole lot. This other wolf, seeing you show up and seeing everyone arrive, is going to immediately take off running. He gives you a decently wide berth as he runs around, but he darts back for the tree line and back into darkness. Arbus, as you take 2 actions to rush up and see what's going on, you see the smoldering corpse of a wolf next to a body torn to shreds. There's blood everywhere. And Barkbeard just pounding massive root, almost stone-like fists down into this wolf.
Oh damn. Okay. And I still got one action left.
One action as you get here.
I am gonna beat feet to the person that's on the ground.
As you rush
Four.
up, you can recognize it's Bartholomew, who appears to be unconscious. Hopefully just unconscious.
Yeah, as I was getting there, I start fumbling through my stuff real quick.
Selwyn.
I would move to here. Trying to give
And rushing up with what little bit of
Which
light
is,
that you have to you,
yeah.
trying to eliminate the situation. You can't see anywhere where this wolf has gone to. Ara? At this point, Zerg, if you want to go ahead and roll initiative as well. Bam! It's Zerg.
He's awake. He's alive.
There he is, folks. He's here.
With a 20. That's perception. I pressed the wrong one. Wait, no, same
Perception's a
thing.
kind of initiative.
You pressed the right thing.
Hey,
First
I'm
time.
pressing. Yeah, I'm pressing
Yeah,
initiative.
Yeah,
you did the
you're
right
forgetting,
thing.
you're forgetting to click your token before
I
doing
just
it.
gave you the
Oh.
token. That's fine. I
Okay.
can add it in and give you the 20. So who wants to go first? You or Ara?
I'll go first. Mine's
Okay.
easy. I'm just gonna cast Dancing Lights. Further up, 120 feet. I'm gonna cast it right there. Frederick's back, folks. Right here.
Ya boy. Where was it again?
Right
Oh,
there.
right there.
Yep.
It's ya boy, Frederick. Let me give you control of your best friend.
Yeah.
And bam, bam, bam. As Frederick illuminates the area, you can see the wolf darting down this trail, ducking in and out of the foliage, sticking to the edges as well as he can. He's not actually going up that small side trail. He's just trying to stay to the edges now at a quick retreat, but he's running further in. No, he's doing one action.
And then I'm just gonna move up next to Selwyn.
And a Zerg, taking 2 actions to get here, arrives on the scene with 1 action left.
Oh boy. Okay. One action.
Takes you 2 to guide your wagon to get down here.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. I am going to sudden charge.
What are you sudden charging?
This fucking thing. What's this thing?
That's Barkbeard.
Oh, is
Kill
it?
him! Get him, sir!
You're so small.
I know.
It's
yeah.
his fault. He's a leshy. He's tiny.
Ara's tiny.
That's Barkbeard.
He's actually small. He's not tiny.
Get
I'm
that
gonna
son of a bitch.
can I-
He's like the same. It's the same size
get
as
off of me.
Ara.
Actually, you know what? Zoe's gonna sudden charge up to to Barkbeard, but I don't have to strike if I don't want to. I'm gonna run up and
You only
strike.
have 1 action. You can regular
Sudden
stride.
charge is a movement and then an attack.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's
but it's
2
two
actions.
actions.
The whole thing's 2 actions.
Oh, is it?
You can
Oh,
functionally
okay.
do half of that by just doing the movement.
Well,
and
I'll just do the
Run
move.
up to him normally.
Okay. Well,
Barkbeard.
Zoe's gonna go for a swing, realizing, oh wait, that's a new friend. I'm sorry, I
get
didn't
my-
recognize you. You're new. It's the first time. Sorry.
I have my walking stick and I bonk him on the head. Hey, watch yourself.
Hey,
And
now, how did you reach me?
I have a long walking stick. The reach weapon, I guess. Well, I don't know if we should go running off after any wolves during the night. How is this man? He's been looking very poor. I step around Zerg. He's looking quite poorly, this man.
Make me a heal check.
Okey-dokey. I have no idea. This human anatomy is quite strange.
He doesn't look great.
Well,
I would say probably a bonk walking check is 3 actions, I think.
that's basically the plan.
And this wolf takes off out of sight once more. And with him gone, the immediate threat, at least, seems to have ended. Arabis, you're right here near Bartholomew as he's fallen.
Mhm.
What are you doing? I assume you are the
Well, the original strategy when I got there was we're in battle, it's combat. I was gonna battle medicine real quick, just try to get him stable with my healer's tools as quickly as possible. Saw he was in trouble, that's what I was going for.
Okay. Give me battle medicine.
So battle
Give me,
medicine.
Give me a check.
All right. Okay. The big boy. The expert. With a 28.
28. You will absolutely succeed. And then give me that 48, right? 2d8 plus 10, right? D8 doubling
Yeah.
happens on a crit. 2d8 plus 10 to Bartholomew.
Arbus is getting pretty good at this.
Like you guys level up and get stronger or something.
I know, right?
That's 21 HP.
As you quickly rip something out of your bandolier, and in a flash, try desperately to revive Bartholomew. He doesn't move.
No. Nah. Second level heal.
Tapping
Magic.
into the magic that you have, the strongest you have at your disposal. You try to channel this positive energy into him. And just nothing happens. It was that fast. He's just kind of a boy,
Arbus.
honestly. He wasn't particularly hardy.
Arbus, how's Bartholomew? That's a fun name to say.
Velito. Velito.
I think he's gone.
Well, some follow the wind and the waves, and he seems to be following the wind faster than most.
So when I'm going after that wolf,
Yep, same.
His
As
Maybe.
you all ready yourselves to head off into the forest here, all pretty acutely aware that a pair of wolves absolutely should not be mustering forces together to throw themselves at the torches and bodies that were out here working at the night. It seems a circus of wayward wonders just can't catch a break. And once again, we're ending a session with another loss. Whether this is the work of the Celestial Menagerie or something else entirely, there's no way to know yet. But something here in Escadar is very, very wrong. And we are hot on the heels of figuring out what. We return next week. Pursuit. Directly into the tree line after that wolf to try to make some kind of sense of this. Of all the people, he may not have been the closest to Bartholomew. He may not have been the most useful performer. He was your newest member, but the kid was like 19. He was literally just a kid. He
He's
wouldn't talk
excited
a
to
lot
be
about his
there.
path. He was so
jaded.
bright-eyed,
Not
bushy-tailed, so
he
excitable.
was a good guy. He needed stiller at the opening performance.
Next week, everyone. Well, the show must go on.
Son of a bitch.
Y'all thought I was just gonna hit you with an entire episode of clerical bureaucracy and paper signing.
Well, you kind of did.
For a second there, I did.
Well, all that leads to death anyways, so...
Death and taxes, right?
Death
Yep.
and taxes. Oh man, that's
There's a
next
title.
week's episode for sure. I had a good one for this week, but that's a solid one for next week. Thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you for hanging out. We don't stop bleeding goddamn people. We're not gonna have a circus for long. Good nights, everybody. Well, surely next week we'll put together a session where nobody dies. Right? Right?
Look at that smile.
Great. It can't get worse. Can't keep happening.